It's a thing of turning it on and off again, but I feel good to go. Hi again. Good, my apologies for the technical interruptions, but we seem to be good to go. Let me double check to make sure Discord did its Discordy thing, but I think, and let me move this guy just much closer. I think we're good. And it needs to do the Twitch ad guys. They need to do their thing. I'll let them do their thing, and then we will get started once they ads up. But hi Zero, congrats on being first-ish. And welcome to stream. I believe we're good to go. Let's see. Twitch is doing its Twitch thing. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that is a relief. I was worried. Thinking to myself, what I tend to do is I usually, or hi Edie. Welcome back to stream. What I usually do is I do a fake stream test, a private stream test to test the quality of the stream from time to time. And it usually works. I did it last week, so I said, you know what could change from last week to this week? I might just have to start doing the test every week. And see how that works out instead of doing it like once a month, just to make sure the things are up to scale. But welcome all. I hope you've all been doing well. I hope your week's been lovely. You know, I've said it before, but I sound a smidge tired, and I'm surprised you could tell. I am a smidge tired, and oh, that was lag right there. Oh no. just a smidge, I can say. If you hear me yawning, that is why. I say, oh yeah, I've been attacked. And stop, you have violated the law. Either pay your fine or serve your sentence. Isn't that from, I think, Oblivion, right? I eventually at some point do want to play it, especially since it's now in its remastered version, so I'm excited to see how that works out. And yeah, there's one more emote now that I've added, Rudy. Rudy requested that one, and there's this one more I added, as it felt suitable for the what tends to happen during these streams. And oh, it's been found. That is the one indeed. And we're taking a quick ad break. The ad break is, I was waiting for it to start, but it didn't want to start. The internet said, nuh-uh. That's about what it said, but I'm glad it's up and running now. It was, I connect things through the Ethernet cord, and then as I'm looking, huh? Siri did a thing! That was creepy. I was saying, before I was interrupted by the bot. And as they're processing, nuh-uh, it was bad internet. Bad connection. I usually connect things through the Ethernet, and for some reason, it wasn't connected. So I turned everything on and off again, and that seemed to have solved the issue. I say it, then I lag again. Oh boy. I find it, I think the emote is pretty silly. The positioning of stuff still is getting figured out, but overall, I think we're good to go. I think everything is fine. Everything is just about the same as it was before in terms of what we're doing. We've been doing this for the last few weeks, so I am hopeful. Today and tomorrow will be the end. I'm telling you, if streaming or if the stream didn't want to work today, I was about to get on Discord and say, I'll just spend the next 4 hours in here. And apparently, I'm a god gamer. Everyone is having such hard times doing lockpicking in Oblivion. I have never had issues with it. I'm a pretty good Skyrim lockpicker. I had fun doing it. Well, I can't really commit myself to being evil and doing the evil thievery things, but I was a good old lockpicker back in my Skyrim days. I'd love to try Skyrim again, but the issue is, I'm a heavy modder. So whenever I play a game, it can have the option of mods. So Minecraft, Skyrim, Stardew Valley. I tend to typically, perchance, go just a smidge on the intense side when it comes to those things. Before you know it, my computer's screaming just a little bit because I've added 300 plus. And stop! You have violated the law. Oh, I did read that. Oh boy. Or pay your sentence. I see. Okay. I think we're good to go now. I feel a little funny still, but it's working. You know, as long as it's working, it's good. It's good to go. And you need to make a sun and moon icon, but you think it'll kill you. I remember seeing this one meme where it was like a thing of UI designers versus UI programmers, and it was just someone jamming out to music as they designed the art, and then the coder having the hardest time of their life, fighting, kicking and screaming. But we should be all good to go now. Stop motion errors. Did it happen again? Oh, what a shame. Okay, I have this extension thingy that I might have to bring out the big guns for tomorrow. I have this thing that will connect the thing to the thing for extra heavy mega duty Ethernet. But okay, we're all good to go, I believe. Okay, let me click this screen here. Where are we at? If I click this guy here, oh, it doesn't want to do the thing. So many things I tell you. And I can copy from the internet or make it myself, do it in minimalistic style or pixel art. Pixel art sounds like fun. I mean, I'm not biased or anything, but wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Alrighty, saying all of that, I think there's no more introductions needed for what is going on today. I have plans, I have goals to achieve and succeed. Saying that, I'll be right back, alright? I'm just gonna go over here for a smidge of a second. Oh, I'm telling you the audio. Can you say it again? Because you only heard a wink wink or something. Oh no, is the microphone now having issues? Everything is breaking. Hold on. Okay, does this make it a little bit easier to understand? I said pixel art is it's a great choice because, you know, it's cool looking, it's fancy. It can be if you let it, but fancy meeting you all here. What a coincidence! What a coincidence! You seem to be in a room filled with elevators that are currently occupied. They're occupied, and they will appear. You know, they'll be at your floor level within, I'd say, maybe 1 minute. And since you have a minute to spare, like exactly around a minute, I figured, you know, I would talk about a certain thing. You know, this is a terrible thing for you, but a great thing for me. So why don't we just hold a conversation, a very business conversation? Why don't we? Invincible elevator? No. This just happens to be a room with no windows, no stairs, just an elevator. That is all. Saying all of that, hi everyone, welcome. I finally get to catch light for the first time in a while and get to see the elevator pitch even. Hi Oxidized, welcome back to stream. Welcome. I hope you've been well. Speaking of elevator pitch, welcome to the elevator pitch. This is the section I like to do in the beginning of the stream, where I spend exactly around 1 minute attempting to pitch my game to you. What is that game exactly? You may ask, or you might even ask. Run? No, there's no running. There, I told you there's no escape. What is that game, you may ask? Well, I can tell it to you quite clearly, actually. It is called, bam, Necrotype Cafe. A rhythm typing cafe game. Elevator pitch is a thing I like to do at the beginning of the stream, where I spend 1 minute attempting to pitch the game to you. I do this in order for people who maybe have not been here before, maybe who are coming back in a while, to get up to speed with what the things are doing, what the witch burner. Get up to speed with what's going on currently in my game. Maybe you haven't heard my game before, and in which case I'm lagging. In which case it brings you up to speed, and it also lets me get better at explaining my game, as the less words the better I can explain it. So we'll see how things go. And everywhere we turn, another bank of elevators. Exactly. Now you're getting the picture. Saying all of that, this is the timer, the elevator timer. Once that timer is up, I'd say your elevators are about as good as here, good as coming. So when that timer starts, the pitch will begin. So hold your horses, hold your seats, and get ready for a lovely pitch that you're totally not being told to say and say yes to agree to. Alrighty? Okay, I'm ready. And welcome to Necrotype Cafe, rhythm typing cafe game where you play as Gabriella, a necromancer who's been told by her necromantic family to go to this prestigious wizard academy, or they want her to become a necromancer, but she doesn't want that. She doesn't want that in life. No, she wants to become a baker, a chef, so she finds this abandoned place in the school, her wizard academy, and decides to create a cafe where she serves her fellow wizardy customers, or the wizardy students. And the idea behind the game is that you have to rhythm cafe typing game. The cafe portion comes into play when you serve your customers, your fellow wizard customers, by different wizardy foods, and the idea is that to serve the customers, to get that food going, you have to spellcast, you have to summon the food, and to do that, you have to type to the beat. You have to do a rhythm typing game. So the idea is that it combines rhythm typing, by typing to the beat, typing to different music, says I'm lagging again. Type to the beat, type to the rhythm, while also serving customers. The cafe portion is a mad dash and forth, back and forth between finding that perfect rhythm between serving customers and keeping in time with everything. That one felt scuffed more than usual, I'll be honest. And again, this whole stream feels scuffed at this point. But you know what? We're here. So we'll deal with the technical difficulties. It isn't forcing people to listen to something they don't want to torture. I mean, it's not like if we really think about it, right? Just think about it. Just think about the business side of things. It's not like I'm holding you here, or at least you have no proof that I'm holding you here captive. You just happen to be here. I just happen to be here. It is a coinky dink at the end of the day. And you know, since I just, you know, it's a moment of opportunity. That's what it is. You just happen to be here. I just happen to be here. So why not talk numbers? Why not talk business? And please, Eris, release us! The elevator never comes! I've lost count of the days! The elevator never comes! Yet, typing cafe! Yes, typing cafe! The elevator never comes! Those are not cries of help. That down there, ignore that, alright? Those are simply the screams of satisfied customers. It looks like a kid in too big in a suit. This is as business suit gets. And the game sounds amazing, but it also sounds like it might give the dev a headache trying to get calibration working. You have no idea. You have no idea. Saying that though, let's get out of business mode, shall we? As we're transitioning from business to programmer peril, programmer suffering at this point. So let me get this business seat off. Let me get my programming associate right here. He's the good old company, not the company pet, but the he's the guy you go to. He's HR. There we go. Bobby is HR in this case. And you'll kill me if I don't listen, but you don't want to admit it. I have no murdering on my hand. I'll just say that. And Mia, you are not wearing that suit. It's just cardboard cutout. No. I was wearing it 100%. And if you eat a booze bananas, I'll buy your game SE day one. No bananas were harmed in the making. And you missed the pitch. Thanks to my favorite pencil, I voluntarily defeated myself. I have no idea what you're talking about, so you were here for the entirety of it. But Bobby, you're his husband and pet. I'm not married. But you know, if that pitch wasn't convincing enough for you, but I'm sure it was, why don't I give you a preview of the game, the prototype, the current making of the game? Why don't I? I can go on head down to where we have Obsidian here, but you have kids with Bobby. I have no children. None whatsoever. Let me go ahead and paste this guy. Oh, hold on. The browsers aren't wanting to do the browsery thing. I guess that's the thing I get for refreshing the internet, but we should be good to go now, I believe. Yep. Okay, now where did that guy go? Oh, there we are. Okay, lovely to hear. Things are refreshing, but we're all good to go. See, here is the link. It is currently up on itch.io if you'd like to give it a try. Things are currently in testing at the moment, as you'll see, and I'll show you what I mean by working on calibration today. You'll get a good preview of that. So let me go ahead and, oh, that music is not on, so let me go ahead and do that. Lovely, okay. So if I click on here, run game, the game should open up. It should get bigger, and if I give it a second, lovely, okay. So let me move you over here. Let me make this guy bigger, and I just turned on the music, didn't I? And now I turned down the music. Oh boy, I did not think that one through. So let me go ahead and do that instead. We should be good to go. And there we are. And had to sacrifice to the cult. Cult? What cold. No colds here. All good, good. Hi, Dark. Hi, Jijix. Welcome back. And the game's looking nice. It's been this way for a good hot second. And hi, Animal. Welcome back. And put on your analyzing spectacles, everyone. My prince. Welcome back, everyone. Alright, so to show you how the game works, let's go into the tutorial level, why don't we? You can see here on the screen, this is Gabriella, the character I was talking about, your little necromancer lady. You see at the bottom of the screen, this is going to be the future UI, and what color is the sun? Yellow? Yellow! Down here is a book you can open up, and this will be the future UI of the game. Everything is mostly prototype placeholders. We just want to make sure the game is fun, the game is working. So if I go ahead and click these buttons here, you can see the page flips, and oh, look at that, we have a customer. So let's go ahead and serve our fellow necromancy student. Let's let them think about their food, design things, look at their food, and taste test and think, okay, what do I want to order? And I'll tell you right now, number 3, great choice, 10 out of 10, I say. And so does white. Not where I'm from, Rudy. The sun is classified as a yellow star. There's different color stars. Nope, she's ready to go. We can go ahead and take her order. And as you can see here, the it's two customers to a desk. So you see 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. The customer sitting here represents here. And if you look, this is a pink-purple kind of icon-y thing, which means if we go here, sweet, bitter. So the idea is that as you go on, as you progress in the game, you get different flavors, different ideas. In this case, the necromancer's flavor is bitter. As you go on, you might run into a cryomancer, your ice wizards, and they might have minty, or you might run into your pyromancers, which are your spicy, your flame wizards, and they'll give you the spicy flavor. So you'll get more flavors, you'll also get more food types. In this case, it's sweet, bitter, cookie, and black leads, yeah? Huh? What do you mean? And because we see the sun as a yellow sun because of atmosphere, that the sun is white. Yeah, I don't know about that one. So let's go ahead and do sweet, bitter, and then cookie. And if I click generate here and Google says he's right, well then I'll have to have a conversation with Google. Oh boy. And here's your jersey written on the back, Neckcrackers. Huh? Telling you, no necks were harmed in the making. Google CEO. Oh boy. If I go ahead and click generate on here, the music starts up in the minigame. So let's see if we can do this. C-A-M-E space W-H-I-F-F-L-I-N-G space T-H-R-O-U-G-H space T-H-E space T-U-L-D-E-Y space W-O-O-D, comma space. So far, so good. Feeling it today. Alright, let's see. B-I-T-E, comma, space, T-H-E, space, P-L-A-W-S. Nice. Okay. So, as I said, things are, that felt good, but apparently the game didn't think so. Again, things are still being done. Let's go ahead and give our sweet bitter cookies to our lovely patron over here. Wait for them to eat, think about their food, tap their mouth, and that is about the gist of the game. There are other things like ghosts that will be added, as you can see here, but we'll save ghosts for another time. Right now, we are specifically focusing on the spellcasting calibration. Let's go ahead and, oh, hold on, there we are. Let me turn the music back on here, and I should be able to undo. There we are. Lovely. So, if I go back to main menu here, what you should see is this is the current live version of the, and oh, let me turn this guy down. This is the current live version of how the rhythm part works of the game, the calibration. This is screen 1, this is screen 2. It's a thing, yes indeed, and since for the past few weeks we've been trying to figure out how to fix it, and last week we figured out a way, and I've been working on it this week, as again, I'm hoping either today or tomorrow, calibration will be completed. I can taste it, we're so close. And it always looks super awkward when the ghost touches your character. The ghost has a bit of a distance issue, that's all. They're working on their own issues. Why didn't there ghosts in the first place? Something happened to them. The way the game originally was, or the way it looked, you had a screen for audio and you had a screen for visual. The way it's been updated, it works a little bit differently now. There is a test screen here, then you go through 2 different tests, and then you get the results screen. So enough of me chatting about it. Why didn't I show you what I've been working on? So if I go here to Godot, let me go here to programming. Oh, I did read that. Good. Okay. And oh, I forgot to switch the chat to this mode. That way I can see all the chat thingamajiggies. I go ahead and click play on here. What do we get? Let's see. As I've been trying to see if I can figure out how to get it working, how to get things going, and I've been working on it off stream. I wanted to see if I could, and they ain't been right since they got their necks broke. No necks were harmed in the making of this game. No one sued me, so there's no evidence of any malpractice. If I click calibration here, you can see it's completely different. I've been working on it, I've been tweaking it. We have our audio latency and our visual latency, and the idea is that there's 2 different tests that have to happen in order for the game to be calibrated. So let's go through it. It quote unquote works at the moment. Things are a little bit iffy. And then where did you get the ghost? The ghost died of natural causes. Possibly old age or something else. I'm no ghost expert. Not one bit. So if I go ahead and click here, start test, you can see, press space when you hear the note. So let's see if I wait for the audio. I don't know how well it's picking it up. In your cafe, it is a school. You know, maybe the school shading. Hi, Dulce Knight. Welcome to stream. In inclusion mode, I'm deaf. Oh no. How would you play a rhythm game in general then? Okay, hold on. Bass. Okay. Bass. Okay, this is the second part of the test. Now that you've heard it, that's the audio. This is the visual. So the goal of this test is to visually have the keys line up. And you can see, because I'm not pressing anything. And right hand, natural. Left hand, causes. Natural causes, I tell you. Let's see. I should be able to click space and the bar should fill up. So let's see if we can do this. Click. That did not work. Oh, let me make sure I'm actually selecting the game. Let's see. Click. Okay. Offset updated too. Let's see if I click now. Okay. Alrighty, this is perfect. Okay. Let's see. Nope, that was not perfect. That is okay. So let's see. And hi, welcome to stream. Welcome back. Just passing by to say hi. No worries whatsoever. Welcome, and goodbye all the same. Okay. Press space when the circle overlaps. The task is over when the bar fills up. Nope. It's trying its hardest right now, but apparently I'm not making it easy. Okay. We just have to wait for it to overlap. Let's see. Okay. Waiting and hit. Okay. Waiting. Okay, and hit. Okay, waiting even more. Okay. Waiting and nope. This is hard. This is a very hard test. By Angry Bobby. Okay. When the circle overlaps, the test with the bar. Okay, nope. Apparently I don't have rhythm, or maybe it's the concentration levels. Okay. I'm gonna focus. Let's just you wait. I'm going to click now. Nope, that felt pretty good. That felt pretty accurate. Let's see. Okay, waiting and hit. Okay, waiting and hit. Okay, one more. Dark Souls rhythm games. So it seems you only have to give 3. Okay, lovely. So now that we have our audio latency and our visual latency, let's see if it actually works. Because I've been working on it, like I said, the past week, but I'm not too sure why I deemed it not working at the moment. So let's see, and maybe make the notes come with less space between them so it's easier to maintain rhythm when it's repetitive. Well, the thing is, it's not supposed to maintain rhythm, right? It's supposed to be a visual gauge. The other one's more so about rhythm, but I do get what you say, Lusk. The issue is the timing with the, what is it? The issue is with, oh no, let me turn this down as well. I realize it's a little bit tricky to hear me. There we are. The issue is that it takes a few seconds for it to spawn the note and combo that with other things. It's like 2 seconds between each for a buffer. So I'm not too sure, but I can definitely note that down. Yep. Okay. So now that we've gone through the pain of the latency test And let me, oh, I don't have my notes in this one. Hold on. I'll screenshot the game. Let's see if this works. If this does not work and my audio latency is not happy with me, that means we have to do a few things. And I'm so smart. I know how to make an ing and HTML. I remember taking those courses, HTML and everything. Alrighty, so we're in the game. If I go ahead and teleport to the kitchen, how does it feel? What is the feeling? Let's see. Just sweet, bitter, sweet cookie. The moment of truth. Oh boy, I'm not ready. Okay. So it's not working. A space S W E E T comma space M A D I C A L space S M O K E comma space I S. Well, T's, yeah. Something's broken. Hence why we've been working on this game for, you know, the past few weeks in the terms of calibration. When you fix one thing, other things tend to break. So welcome to Game Dev. Of all the game, what is it, like, not the game version, the game, what is it called? I forget the word, but all the game types, the genres, there we are. Of all the game genres, rhythm game. But the good news is that it seems to be the case. So this is when it seems to be delayed, heavily delayed. It should happen. Okay, gotta go. Good luck, doing great. You're doing great. Thank you for coming, Lesk. I hope you have a lovely day. Okay, let's see. And hey, my name is still Tim. Welcome. And not the best cheerleader chant I have heard, but not the worst. At least the spelling was correct. You know, back in my day, I used to be a cheerleader. You know, I did cheer. I was cool. I was hip. I could do the splits. I could do the handstands and all those things. It was very acrobatic. How the times have changed. Can you imagine a game based around cheerleading though? I feel like that could be fun too. Okay, so about here, wait. Now, this is when these guys should be here, but they're not. The audio seems to be super delayed for some reason. Now is when the notes, but the notes appear about there. So I'm wondering, if we go back to the main menu, calibration, audio latency is 0.11. And did you hear like SM space OR comma T? Did you mean, it was like, da 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 da. Oh, the cheerleading days, you had to ruffle the thingamajiggies. That was fun. And SM space OR comma T. And cheer liar, no, I tell no lies, I tell ya, not one bit, zero. I'm wondering about this though. So the idea is that if I bring you back to concepts and I go ahead and close the game here, the idea is if I click this guy here and we go into concepts here, let me go ahead and grab my pen and like ugly UGLY. You ain't got no LY, you ugly. You know, I wouldn't call that positive reinforcement when it comes to cheering. It was for like basketball games. It was for positively encouraging the basketballers to do the basketball things that were sports related. Never been a sports person, but I had fun cheerleading. If we go here, audio versus visual, it should be here somewhere. And you're the quarterback, don't lie. Can you see me wearing a quarterback outfit with a big old helmet? Big shoulder pads. They'd be bigger than my suit, and I already have big suit shoulder pads. Oh boy. Okay. So if note's not empty, next note equals notes minus audio. And right now the audio is, if I click this guy here, and see, you have no face for radio? You have a face for radio. Oh. Those poor people, they're definitely not cheered. That sounds like hate cheers. I can't even imagine. I'm wondering why this guy is so delayed. The idea is that it's supposed to be notes minus this time right here, the 0.11. But for some reason it feels super delayed, right? And I can't see you at all. Exactly. You just simply do not see. I'm wondering about this because it should be notes minus, if I do this, and, oh, hold on. Oh, and if I can write N-O-T-E-S, N-O-T-E-S, notes minus latency latency audio offset, A-U-D-I-O, offset, O-F-F-S-E-T. And despite the offset only being 0.11, it feels really long, like a few good seconds. So something's wrong with that code. And I guess in Iris math, land it's 0.11, not 0.1. You've lost me completely. But there is a, if you mean zero, there's a zero on YouTube who speaks very often. That's who I'm talking about when I talk to a zero, the figment of non-imagination, the very real zero that exists on the other side of streaming. Let's go back into here. Let's take a look at the and Lofamus. Welcome to stream, and hello. May I ask what program you're using to create these notes? Sure, of course, and you ask so kindly. I appreciate it. It is called Concepts, like this. And whenever I'm looking for programs, I try to find programs that you could either do one-time payment or just it's free. This one I believe is $30 for a one-time payment, but after that it is yours to keep, which is nice. I always like this. And I was trying to say one, not one. Oh, my head. I was trying to say one, not 11 after a point. Oh, that sounds painful. I can completely say that. 1, not 11. Oof. How do you say 1,111? Yeah, 1,111. 1,111. 1,100. Yeah, 1,111. Yep. And hi, Muck. Welcome back. And I'm so tired of subscription these days. I seek out free or OTP too. Yeah. Especially since those subscriptions can rack up very quickly. It can help. And they can't see me. I'm in your head. I'm not crazy, I tell you. Not one bit. Let's go ahead and look at this guy here. Right now, it's telling us a lot of things. So let's go ahead and now that we can see things that are going on, let's clean this up a little bit to make things a little bit easier to debug. If we go into, let's see, Control F, D-E-L-E, Control Shift F, so we can check the whole scope. And D-E-L-E-T-I-N-G, you need to wake up. Bean. Where did Bean come into play here, huh? Now you have me confuzzled. Where did Bean come? If not, list is empty. Yep, okay. We're deleting key characters. Let's just go ahead and comment this guy out. Spending 100 points just for Bean. A person with simple needs in life. I can't appreciate it. Oh boy. Let's see. We have deleting, right, as the output. We have deleting up in all the hearts. I do appreciate that as well. Absolute worth. Stumped. Big values. Big spending. Let's see. Notes before index character A. Okay. The idea is that if you can see here, this 2.45 number, right? If I move this guy up a little bit, that 2.45 number should be, if we go into concepts again, it should be minus 0.11. That's the idea. 2.45 and then 0.11 and like human being. How you been? Oh, I'm being fine. Oh boy. I mean, that's fun to say. Wake up. I am Sleepy Zero, but I'm as awake as I'll ever be, probably, today. Oh boy. Okay. So if mute music, this is not what we're looking for. If we go back into, let's see, take this guy here, close utility. Let's just close everything and reopen as we're going along. Everything must get closed. What we need to look at is our calibration screen. If I go back into here, this guy, calibration screen. This is the guy responsible for doing all of our calibration. And you can see here we have our manual, margin, all these guys. Let's go ahead and close this. The idea is that when you go to the screen, it starts off with this screen, the main calibration screen. And then depending on the mode, you either have your audio test or your visual test. And they swap back and forth as the calibration test progresses. And 3,000 liters of coffee start. Coffee unfortunately doesn't affect me. I didn't have time to make some coffee today, but coffee tends to make me sleepy, if anything, which is so unfortunate. If I could have caffeine work the way it was intended to, it'd be a different world of productivity. Let's see. Audio latency, visual latency. Let's go ahead and hide that. What I'm wondering is why the notes feel really delayed. The numbers I had were, let's see if we go back into here. Okay, what we'll do is we'll go ahead to our rhythm game. So this guy here, our mini game, our game over, mini game over, spellcasting mini game. This is how we do all the typing and everything. This guy here, the center button. So if we go into this guy here, let's see, down here to get score, nope. What we're looking for is on our ready. So this guy here, yeah, process, update song position. Righty, bar notes, here's the note, utility minus audio latency. Let's go ahead and print. Well, this is process, right? So let's not do that. Let's say instead to try to see if we can figure out the issue. If song position greater than or equal to, what we'll have it do is print out. So we'll go ahead and do utility dot debug, print debug message, and we'll say note before note natural. There we are. Natural note, NATRAL, natural note, natural note time. So that'll just be, and we'll go ahead and do natural note time. Yeah, that natural note, and then plus, and then STR, and we'll go ahead and put down here notes and then 0. And then from there, what we'll do is do note, modified note. I think that works out. MODIFIED, though stat. Oh, can you imagine like a coffee force squad? How silly that would be. It'll be silly, but it'd be interesting. Like a whole TV series on just people who go around and serve coffee. The natural coffee order. Everything must be as it was meant to be. Let's go ahead and copy this guy here. Print. Okay, this is way too many of these little guys. Let's go ahead and move that guy there, and then move you. There we are. Okay. So what we're looking to see is why the modification acted a little wonky. So let's see how that turns out. I go ahead and click play here. I can go ahead and mute our music, and then I can go ahead and redo Godot, since Godot sometimes likes to not show up the way it was meant to show up. So I think we're good to go. Okay. Lovely. And then in calibration, I'll just set our audio and latency, all those things to the things we had it when we finished the test. So it was 0.11 and then 8.35. So 0.11 is so small compared to everything else. So 0.11, and then it was 8.35. So 8.35. Let's just scroll down here. 8.35. Okay. And if you can see, it's nice, it keeps the same, so it's lovely. Okay, let's go back into main menu. Levels, no one spawns. Let's go ahead and teleport to our kitchen. This guy here, and now let's try the game mode. Let's see. We have sweet, bitter, cookie. Okay, here we go. Generate. Yep, okay. So, if we look at our notes here, natural note, 385. Modified note, 3.74. Natural note, 4.71. So this is doing it correctly in the sense of spawning when it needs to spawn. But for some odd reason, it is spawning it super delayed. Like they, how can I describe it? I'm wondering. If we go to, I'm wondering if there is a way to do it. The song. Let me see if I can pull up the song. And Sweet Bitter Cookie is also my username for I mean, Sweet Bitter Cookies are tasty. That would be like your semi-sweet. Maybe a little salt in there. Well, no, bitter, right? What's a bitter flavor? I mean, coffee is pretty bitter. So maybe like a coffee cookie, a sweet coffee cookie. I feel like that could be tasty. Dating apps. How silly. Let's go ahead and if I open up my, let's see. Gotta drag a few things in here. The songs we have currently, if I go ahead and just get this guy really quickly and put this guy back up here. Right now, there are currently 3 songs at our disposal. If I do this song, will you let me? Nope. Let's see, audio. Customer leaving, that sound. Music, maybe? There we are, music. Currently, there are, I believe, 3 tracks of music we have, and to be fair, every app is a dating app if you're bold enough. If you're bold enough, and they don't censor certain words. I remember the haze, like the craze of Club Penguin, where you would go to the pizza parlor and everyone was looking to go on a date. It's like, oh, I'm so lonely. They sit at the table, role playing as if they, you know, they just had the worst day of their life. Or you would go into the pet place and you'd go into the pet place and it was just people looking to be adopted. It was a wild time back in the early internet days. I can tell you that much. It was fun. I can say that much. If we go here, right now the two songs we have are, let's see, Race to the End. Well, these are old songs. Hold on. This song here, let's see. I do remember that one. I do like this one. I want to try to make something similar to that one. We have caffeine, so I'll keep these here. These don't need to be moved. I'm just looking for our current music in our, let's see, Pastrydia, P-A-S-T. There we are, music map. If we go to this guy here, there we are. Right now we have Pastrydia, and that's this guy here. And Club Penguin, I used to close the pool on Haribo. Is that from Club Penguin? My memory is always is super fuzzy on the specific names, but I think I remember something to do with Haribo, but close the pool. I used to really be into the online chat spaces, like the what is it, Free Realms, I think it was. It was something like that. I do miss those times. So let's see, this guy here, when the music starts up, you can see the number up here, right? And this right here, that tonk sound is when the note should appear. So that sound right there, about 4 seconds into the song is when the note should appear. So for some reason, it's not appearing. Maybe we have to modify the music, but give me 1 second to blow my nose and then we'll figure this out. We should be all good to go. Spring is such a terrible season for me. And Haribo Hotel, I see. But you had an avatar that took up space. So if you were 2, you could block the... I see, you do a little bit of trolling. It was fun to get people together to do certain events. And plays blow noise animation. Blow noise. I sound like a trumpet, I tell you. It's not nice. And let's see, okay. Natural note, notify note appear. I'm wondering the time it takes, right? Oh, hold on. Let's just move this guy down. This is our note guy here, right? And then if we go to here, well, it's called our key. That needs to be changed. The name senses. But in our key listener, this guy here, let's just drag him up for a second. But the idea is that to get from here to here, the note would take. And my timer is so amazing. I'm glad. It's always fun to work on mini projects. The idea is that in a perfect world, the time it would take to get from here to here would be that 0.11 that we have written down. So this guy here, this audio latency, 0.11. That's what this audio offset is supposed to represent. And let me write that down too to make it easier for me to remember. This guy represents distance from note to listener. So let me go ahead and drag this guy here. Distance, I-S-T-A-N-C-E, distance from F-R-O, oh, hold on, F-R-O-M, from note to, oh, hold on, note to listener, L-I-S-T-E-N-E-R. This is supposed to be the distance from the note to listener. It's also supposed to represent the distance from the play time to the hear time. Let's go ahead and write that down as well. The distance from, and let's just copy this to make it easy on us. Distance from place time to hear time. From playtime, P-L-A-Y, playtime, I-M-E, wonderful M, playtime to hear, H-E-A-R, hear time. That's what this guy's supposed to represent. This notes minus audio offset. Let me drag this guy over here. Notes minus audio. Let's just copy this guy. Make it easier to... Actually, let me screenshot it. Hi, Rodrigo. Welcome back to stream. Hola. Hola, welcome. Is that how you say welcome in Spanish? I know it says you say hello in Spanish, but what would be welcome in Spanish? I took Spanish class a long time ago, but I'll make timer for studying. I am working on a studying timer at the moment as well, Rudy. I want to try to do like a Tomodachi sort of thing. Let me go ahead and grab this screenshot to make things easier to see. And let's go ahead and copy this guy here. Okay. And oh, did it copy? I don't think it did. Hold on. This guy here, drag it and copy. Lovely. Okay. Let's go ahead and paste it into this guy here. But rather, instead of this, to make things easier to see and understand what's going on, the idea is supposed to be next node. Your next node equals the note minus utility.audio latency. And I always say mucho to my Spanish friends. It means a lot. I get that one. What is it, like a mucho gracias? ¿Qué pasa? One day, Spanish will be on my list of to-dos. And hi, Crystal. Hola to you as well. I don't feel like I'm saying that right. But welcome. And I can't type this E and question, huh? And todo, is it toy bien? Right? Possibly. soy bien, means good, right? As you can tell. Super rusty. Okay. So this is supposed to be the distance from note to listener, and also the distance from playtime to hear time. If this is the case, then do we modify it? Poor errors. I believe I live in Spain, but this S is silent. I live in pain. For me, I live in Spain without the A. Oh boy. Okay. So, oh good. I see. Yes, this. That's what it means. I do remember that. Distance from note to listener, distance from playtime to hear time. I think. That sounds about right. If I had to guess and remember. Distance from note to listener, distance from playtime to hear time. I'm just wondering, why isn't this working? And the answer is, okay. Maybe it's to do with the note speed? You can talk in Polish, English, and a little bit of Spanish and German. I'll never get over how some people are just polyglots, the multi-language people. It's wild, but it's also really interesting. Eventually I want to learn Japanese, Spanish. Japanese and Spanish are my top two. And right now, as I say Japanese, let's see, konnichiwa. Oh, let's say, but maybe it's, oh, I don't remember. And what tool is that? The thing you're using to annotate? Welcome, Daysling. welcome to stream. It's called Concept. Oh, if I can spell, CONCEPTS. Concepts. I believe it is $30. It's a one-time fee, or you can do it monthly as well.
Daysling is now following.
Thank you for the follow. Welcome to stream, Daysling. welcome. You can't even speak Spanish. Well, yeah. Soon, TM. Okay. Distance from playtime to hear time. The issue is right now we're running into is that the audio seems to be really delayed. When it starts, it doesn't even do it. It's 0 chan. Oh, that's what it is. Zero des. I see. Watashi wa. Gaia. If we go to here, I just want to share you the current issue that we originally had. If I go into Obsidian, this little guy here, just move over here for a bit of a second. This was the current bug that we were having. When the calibration system was being tested, I really do need to, hold on, let me do this before I forget. Let me credit the person who found this bug on their computer. I believe it was KP, or it was a KKP. Let me double check with the names. If we go into, let's see, bug reports. Yep. It was XXP. I was way off. Let me do found by, and then XXP. There we are. That way people can be properly credited. But look at this guy. The idea is that in this original test, the purple, so the key was supposed to land on the white button. Look at this. The normal speed, right? Well, this guy is supposed to land on that guy. It was a little off. And sometimes it was weird, but then they exited out of full screen, and now it's super speedy. So how do you account for that? The idea, or the issue with calibrating and the issue with trying to figure out how the calibration works is that different computers function differently. You have your NASA computers at one end, and then your potato PCs at the other. And if I had to guess, I would say like mine is moderate. You know, it's not super high tech, but it's decent. And oh man, I can't think right now at the moment, Zero. I would not be able to. Nope, not at all. I can't remember. It's like yeah. Oh, my Japanese skills are super rusty as well. So we're trying to figure out this factor, right? This distance to and from that the audio guy's supposed to feel out for. If we go back into concepts, and we can't speak Polish well too. My English skills too are rusty. The distance from note to listener, distance from playtime to hear time. That's what it's supposed to account for. So possibly what we do is note minus utility.audio latency, and then maybe we do it from minus and then the distance from notes to listener, possibly, and not at all. Oh, that's Romanji. I got you. Air, is it air? Can't think at the moment. And I got you though. Got ya. Let's see. Oh yeah. Let's see. Next note floats. Notes. Utility audio latency. Maybe what we need is then the distance. DISTANCE. Possibly. That way we factor in first the distance from here to here, and then also the modified. Hey, German language, worst language. German's fun, what do you mean? And whenever someone sneezes, I love saying Gesundheit. And whenever something goes wrong, or whenever I want to say no a fun way, just go 9. It's fun. It's super fun. Okay, I'm thinking this is the equation we have to do to figure out things a little bit. We take the distance to and from. My only question then becomes that distance from A to B. Wondering, I'm thinking, do we have to modify the visual distance that when it appears? Is that the speed at which it appears, or how would we factor that guy in? And no matter how kind you are, German kids will always be kinder. Oh, that's sweet and fun. It's like black magic, but more bad. Fun. Oh, let's see. You like to learn German? Yeah, it seems like a fun language. It's fun pronunciation. Let's go back into Godot here. And what I'm thinking is we take that distance possibly between these two guys, or because the issue is we're running into, and hi Iska, the local German. I am so happy that's my native language. Learning it is such a pain. Welcome to stream. And I can tell you, it seems like such a fun language. And it's because kinder. Oh yeah, kindergarten. I remember. That was a joke I didn't get, but now I get it. I see. And hello, I'm Zero, the one who defeats the creeps and brings peace to the elevators. Peace in the elevator. Sound like a superhero. Okay, so if the distance guy, right? I deleted this here. The issue is right now we're accounting for hearing the audio, so the distance in terms of hearing it. But then the thing was visually seeing this guy come to this guy here. So is it instead that we have to change the timer possibly? I don't like the timer feel. Maybe the speed, and just don't ask where Kinder Eggs come from. Oh, I do remember Kinder Eggs as well. The chocolate didn't taste as good though. I'm more of a Dove fan when it comes to chocolate. So is it, instead of the visual offset, I'm just wondering, the visual offset, or this is the audio offset we're now basing it off of, but in addition to audio, I'm thinking we also have to do visual, because this is when it visually shows up, right? This is when the note appears. So possibly instead of the visual offset, we have to now think in terms of audio offset. If we go here to the calibration screen, we go to the audio latency, and we also go to the visual latency. The audio one, how this guy works is press space when you hear the note. So it plays a note, and then it measures from the time it played the note to the time you press the button on the note. That's how it does. And everything sounds more epic in Japanese. Japanese is just a fun language. It's also really good. Both Japanese and Korean are two languages that I like I tend to like the art of. So that's also why I want to learn it. I keep coming across Pinterest and all of these tutorials that are in different languages that I can't understand, which is always a shame. Let's see. That's how audio works. For visual, the idea is that if we go into here, you can kind of see there is, if we go into actually, we go into key here, this guy here, key, yep, key scene. I now have here this guy called the visual offset. And the idea is that, don't discourage me. Don't let your dreams be dreams, Rodrigo. I believe. And, Betimas. Understood the last part of that. So the idea is that depending on your visual latency, this guy gets changed. So the origin, this guy here stays the same, but this guy gets modified. But I'm realizing now the issue is that regardless of where this guy is, the speed of which it's summoned at. So we need to have a way to modify it naturally, I'm thinking, and learn Polish, cool language. I can only learn so many languages, unfortunately. I know I just said don't let your dreams be dreams, but we also have to be realistic. And I am not trying to. It's a great language, in my honest opinion. Lots of utility. It's just difficult to learn. I say. Might have to put it on my to-do list. So what I'm thinking is, possibly, maybe we change the speed of key itself to when it is connected. Maybe we can start some sort of timer that does the distance, and then we change the speed up there and do it that way. I'm just wondering, visual-wise, right? Visual audio, when the note appears, when it plays the sound, it's different than when you see the note. The visual versus audio, and it's that linking and syncing that makes it difficult to figure out. But for some reason, my old system worked only specifically for my computer. But then we tried it on other systems, and that's where the other issues popped up at. So that's why I'm wondering, what made that different from this? Some things, again, the system was a little bit different when we did this guy, and let me bring you back to Obsidian as I'm talking. The way this guy worked is that there was an internal timer that played, and when the note stopped, that's when the timer ended. And then depending on what you type, or depending on this number down here, the timer would be modified a little bit before, a little bit after, so that the note was at that point on the spot. But doing it this way, doing it timer-based by the person's computer, for some reason led to this bug where it was a variant at different speeds depending on the if the screen was full screen or not. Which is where I was confused at. So because the system didn't work doing it timer-based, I moved to the new system, which was a lot different. This guy here, which was this here. The idea then became attempting to have it where the audio, right? You hear the audio plays, and then you press the button depending on when you hear the audio. But the issue is spawn time. Spawn time. When you hear the audio, okay. We go back into concepts, and are you using delta time? Delta time doesn't, or I don't think delta time is a factor in this, if I can recall. It is a factor in the sense of this guy here. If we go into the minigame and save this guy here, where are we at? The song position. This here, the song position, this is kind of the delta time that we deal with. The music player playback position, time since last mix, and then output latency, that's our delta time. But maybe delta time is something we should be using in other places. I used delta time once. I took an arrow to the knee. Welcome, Beatus. The thing with delta time is sometimes it's a magical fix, sometimes it's not. And if X hashtag, what do you mean? And I remember how in German class we sang, I cannot even begin to try that. Song from times of World War II opposing. If I remember correctly, it was funny. Interesting fun factory. Oh boy. Let's see. Song position label. Okay. If we were to use delta time, where would delta time go? Would it be in the note position, right? Maybe Oh, you know what? Possibly the position of the note. And have you ever heard of the game? Now you're just throwing random words at me. Made with Godot. Oh boy. The German will love spitting their face title in English. Interesting one. Let's see. Let's go back to concepts. Back here. Okay. So possibly what we can do is delta time. Delta time might be the key. And delta time for the frames and movements. Yeah, I'm thinking, right, maybe something to do with key speed, right? Because there is a variable for key speed. We have on here key speed. Oh, here we are. Key speed, S-P-E-E-D. Key speed, and it also has to do with delta time. I think that possibly could be the case. And let's see. D-E-L-T-A-E-I-M-E. Something to do with key speed, something to do with delta time. Yeah, let me move you over here. Possibly perchance. And it was PVKK for short. Now that one, that one I could understand. And ads are about to start in a second, so I'll let them go ahead and do their ad thing while I take a lemonade break. Since I didn't have time for coffee, lemonade's super easy to make. Just a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water. Easy peasy. Coffee, it's a whole process. Had a cream, a bit of measurement of cream and whatnot, but lemonade, easy peasy. So let me go ahead and drink that. Now I call it an easy process, but I put too much sugar. It's super sweet, way too sweet. Okay, while we're waiting on the ad breaks to finish, let me start Googling some delta time things and see if there's anything we can do with delta time. I think delta time maybe could be the key because that's the whole variable thing when it comes to different computers, right? For different computers, delta time is going to be differently. So it's that smoothing from getting from point A to point B. The time it takes to get to that position. I think that is the issue, right? We have the audio from when you hear it to when you press the button at. We have the visual from when you see it. But delta time, yeah. Distance, the speed of the key and the delta time. So let me go ahead and type into Google here. Godot 4. It doesn't even really have to be Godot 4. It's just delta time in general. Let's see. Delta time. When to apply. I think a lot of devs always just use delta time whenever they can't. It's not working. Add a delta time in there. Need a little bit of a modification. Delta time. That's from what I've seen, but apparently I've seen some videos as well that sometimes delta time doesn't work the way you think it will. But let's see. Okay. Understanding delta. When to use delta. Okay, I'll just pull up these guys so we can go through them. Let's see. Yeah. Delta time also kind of smooths things out, so we'll see. We will certainly check. Let's see, we have this guy here. Why don't we use delta on gravity? Delta time in physics, process versus process. Best way to know when to use delta time. Godot talk, okay, all right. Understanding delta time, gamedev.tv. When should you use delta? Dragonfly, need help with delta time. Okay, we have a lot of different options on here. I'm curious to see about that one. Let me go back and click on this guy here. Yep, okay. I think I have some guys pulled up that we can look through, we can read through to see when delta time would be applicable for us. So yeah, I'm liking the idea of delta time, but I can just never tell sometimes when to use delta time. When's the right time to apply it? Let me get some lemonade and the ad should be up. So tasty, I tell you. Okay, let's go to this guy here. And here we are, already. Best way to know when to use delta. There's no problem, okay. This guy is not needed, this is physics process versus process. I believe this guy here was pretty neat, yeah. And you know, the term delta refers to frame time, the amount of time it has passed since the last frame was drawn. It is a parameter commonly used in the process delta and physics process delta function of a script. Here's why and when you should use delta. Delta is used for making movement and time-based operations, consistent across different frame rates. Without delta, an object can move faster on a system with a higher FPS system compared to a system with lower FPS. So position dot x plus equals speed times delta. When you are deleting or dealing with physics calculations, such as applying forces or velocities to rigid bodies, you should use physics process, which is a fixed frequency. This consists of physics simulation. For smooth animations or timers, delta helps ensure that your animations or countdowns take the same amount of real-world time to complete, irrespective of the game's frame rate. Okay. So possibly speed time. Okay. Maybe we can do something here, right? We have a timer in seconds and then timer minus equals delta. And then if timer less than possibly this, if we go back into concepts, what I'm thinking is for our visual latency test, right? Maybe what we do instead is mess with the delta time since we're already measuring when it happens to occur at the right time. And reading documentation? No, copying code blindly and maybe something will work. That's the thing. It's nice to look at examples and everything, but you have to make sure you understand the code. You have to break it down, break it apart, because you'll start running into issues if you can't figure out what you copy and pasted. And if you have warnings about the unused delta parameter, usually just put an underscore in front of it. GDTP. The thing is, really, especially for Godot, that doesn't tend to work. Not one bit. Alrighty, so where were we? Yep. And that's the thing. Well, what was it? I think delta, it was underscore. Usually you should use it. I see. When I was looking into my research, I forget where, but it was saying delta time's not really used in rhythm games. So I'm not too sure. I'll have to figure out who said that where. But I was told to stay away from delta time, but maybe delta time was the secret spice we needed all along. And DSpeak, I don't know, Rudy, but like I've said before in the past, I'd rather try to figure out things on my own than use those guys. The saying that, let's see. Timer, okay. So what I'm thinking is, we get that timer, since we're trying to figure out the visual latency, right? And I did read that, okay, yeah, for the frame with the movement, yeah. That would be our visual latency. So our distance from note to listener. We want a consistent speed of the time it takes to get from point A to point B. And let me go ahead and put this here. Point B to point, there we go. Point A to point B. And that's where our delta time would come into play. Distance from playtime to hear time. That's a little bit different. That might be modified as well. The key speed and delta time. Now that guy, okay. That's where this guy would come into play. The speed or the time it takes to get from here to here. So in that case, this timer, we start the timer and it's like 0 seconds, and then depending on the seconds it takes to get from here to here, that would be the delta time, I believe. So, let's see. If timer less than or equal to, yeah, okay. So what I'm thinking is, right now the way the second test works, if I go ahead and copy the image of the second time, let me go ahead and screenshot that guy. Give me 1 second. And I'm realizing now, calibration. Oh no, this should be fine. I can just spam this guy. There we are. Lovely. Okay. And then I can go ahead and screenshot this guy. There we are. Okay. Let's go ahead and press escape on you. Okay. And then bring you back into, oh, hold on. Let me mute that music. This guy here. Oh, wrong guy. This guy here. Press space when the characters overlap. The test fills when the bar is up. The idea behind this guy is that when you press space, that's when you get that perfect. It's supposed to do, let me rephrase that. This test is complete when you have 3 perfects in a row. That's when it knows it's got a good gauge of score. So in here, do we count the time it takes to get from here to here and to get a perfect? So that score number we get should be the delta time that it takes, possibly that timer of delta time. Let me see if I can find out how to make a delta timer. If I go ahead and do, let's see, open up the right page, delta timer. How to make a delta stopwatch, maybe? That would be a little bit easier. Stopwatch, Godot 4, let's see. Possibly, to create a delta stopwatch and the function initialize a time-elapse variable. Yeah, something like that. Create timer, yield no. And everyone read the documentation. First I have to know what to look for. Exactly, yeah. And here's a timestamp of a brief but thorough breakdown using delta time. Oh, thank you, Beatus. Hold on. Let me copy that and move it to here. Copy in. Let's get a little bit of education in here. I am not opposed to learning new things. Let this load up and, oh, I've seen this before. Clear code. Never hurts to brush up on the basics. Let's go back into here. And I believe you should hear it. Fine and dandy if I click play. Can you hear it? You cannot. Interesting, hold on. Audio output. Okay, you should be able to hear it now. Lovely, okay. So let me go ahead and mute this guy here. Let me move it back a little bit.
The speed of them is determined by how
movement
fast the game
speed.
runs.
Yep. Let me make this a little bit faster. Let's see.
But the main thing we have to account
Yep.
for right now is
11 hours. That's the best type of video.
How many frames are being generated?
Yep.
For example, our game might run on a really slow computer or a really fast computer.
Makes sense.
Where it runs, we might get different frames.
We have been through that.
This is a massive problem. Let's do some examples. Here is a table, and for all 3 rows, we want to move an object by 10 pixels per frame. This is actually what we have already done.
Speed and frames, total move
we set
speed.
position of x plus equal to speed. And
Yep,
speed
makes
was 10
sense.
pixels, which means on every frame of the game, we move this position 10 pixels further to the right. Next column, we have frames per second. This is determined by your computer. For example, on my computer, I have a reasonably fast one, so my game would probably run a bit higher than 60 frames per second. That being said, another person might have a really good computer, and their game might run at 100
Total
frames per
move
second.
speed, yeah.
The list can go on
The
forever,
speed
and
of
some
the
persons
person,
break it down
oh
to
boy.
1,000 frames or higher.
That makes
On the
sense,
other
yeah.
hand, if you have a really slow computer, you might only get 30 frames per second or something lower.
So far I'm
This can also
understanding.
go up to 0, where you get no frames at all. This frame rate is really important because it influences how fast things are moving. For example, on the slowest possible computer, we
Move
only get 30
speed.
frames per second.
Movement per
If we're moving
second.
by 10 pixels per frame, we are moving 300 pixels per second. That is the total movement, which is fine by itself, but if the frame rate changes, so if we get 60 frames or 120 frames, then we get
Varying
some tiny
speed.
movement. We would get 600
So do you
or
just
1.1.
multiply these two guys by your
And
delta
that would
time?
be an enormous problem.
How does that
Because
work?
now, depending on what computer the game is run on,
Imagine playing an FPS game and seeing a speed hacker, but it's actually just someone gaming on a good tier FPS, and the developers have frame rate.
just imagine you have the same game, something like
Oh, that'd be so silly. Pay to win. The ultimate speed, pay to win. Let's see.
So we do have to account for that.
Yep.
Consistency is also not limited to different
This
computers.
is where delta time comes into play. And hi, Polyfem. Welcome to stream. And what is that cool app you're using to brainstorm all this? I might just have to have it pasted somewhere at this point. CEPTS. There you are. Concepts. I believe it's $30 for a one-time fee. And I know, look at YouTube. We're saying hi to each other, but welcome.
Any kind of video game, sometimes you have a small room
Let's see.
with objects, and sometimes
There's
you
an
have an area
inconsistency
with
in the
stuff.
system. Yep.
Obviously, the larger area is much more difficult.
Makes sense.
And
I'm
because
understanding
of
things.
the
That's the step
inconsistencies,
one.
we want to avoid something like this, where the frame rate dips quite a lot
Yeah.
of time. And while this by itself is fine, and you see it
Okay.
very often,
I'm
it
trying
should
to
not be
see.
consistent. So a lot of problems have to be covered. For that, we have delta time.
Delta time, the magical word. And not unhinged in here like I am nerdy.
60 frames per second. Then delta time is 1 second, roughly 17 milliseconds.
There's no unhingedness, I tell you. Just calm and collection. And of course, I hope you have fun using it.
But to understand
Let's
why
see.
it works, let me add another table. How
Okay.
frame rates influence the game when we have delta time.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was right. So it's your speed times your FPS times your delta time.
With pixels per
And
frame,
then you get a
frame rate.
consistent speed.
Originally, what we have seen
Makes
was this
sense.
column, where we are getting
Okay.
different movements depending on the frame rate.
Okay.
which was really bad, so we
All
account for
right.
that. A really important
So,
thing in any game
oh,
is
hold
the
on.
movement.
Let me
So
rewind
this
this a little
movement
bit.
always is the same regardless of the frame rate.
Okay. So, last part is this table is a good reference. Yeah, let me see. Let me get a screenshot of it. Let me
How
fast forward a
pixels per
little
frame,
bit.
and
This
then
guy
we-
here. Okay. And let me go back just a smidge. So it's not all circled. It's nice and clean. Oh, if it'll let me. I don't think it will. Just go back a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. There we are. What a lovely screenshot. Okay. So, let's see. Here and here. This guy and this guy. What I'm thinking is possibly, if we go back into concepts, right? And let's go back into this guy here. We have an absolute value, or an absolute time it usually takes to get from point A to point B. And when I'm looking at what I'm realizing here is that there's also an absolute value, right? That I say absolute value, it's an actual math term. So I know I'm not using it correctly, but it's supposed to be 10 and it ends up being 10. And bye-bye. Thank you for coming, Rudy. Thanks for stopping by. So if we're doing it in a certain way, right? Speed, instead of speed, what if it's like, what is it? Time, right? So instead we have time. That's a weird looking eye. Time times. So the distance time, let's do that instead. Distance time, DISTANCE. Distance time, and then it's times. And do you know that you can say your name without the extra Y? But it's fun. You have so many Y's. I have to emphasize the Y's. You made a bit of a requirement, but if you'd like, I could remove a few. if you truly want me to. So our distance time times delta. Let's see. DELTA times delta, and then times. Now, I'm wondering, where do you get the frames at? How do you find out your FPS? Does the video cover that? Did I just skip over it with all of my skimming? Let's see. Fast forward a little bit. Yep. Let me zoom over a little bit. Yeah, okay. Let's go back into here for a quick second. See if we missed anything. If I go ahead and mute this guy for a quick second.
The issue now is if I run all of this is going to be really, really slow. We basically have no movement left. The reason for it, the speed right now is 10 pixels per frame, and delta time is something like 0.000 and so on. As a consequence, the final result is going to be incredibly low. Whenever you use delta time, you want to have somewhat larger numbers. Let's go with 200.
I do know that one, yeah.
Now we have roughly
makes
the same
sense.
we had earlier. The if statement also still works, but now the important difference is that this movement always is the same regardless of the frame rate. Now, in my case, I can't easily control the frame rate, so this is a bit difficult to visualize, but trust me, this is a very easy thing to implement and really important for a consistent game experience. On top of that, if you look at the bottom, the debugger is now a bit less unhappy. We only have one issue left.
Okay. When I'm looking at this, what I'm thinking is something called LERP. I believe LERP, possibly. Let me double check. Let me Google it to see if it's the thing I'm thinking of. But the issue is linear interpolation. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Okay. So, back into concept. A lot of theory right now, because right now, something theory-wise is off. Hence why a lot of it is less code today, more theory. I'm guessing the frames per second isn't a thing you factor in. It didn't seem like you had a thing for multiplying by frames. But this distance timer dot delta, and then I guess we also do time speed, because the keys do have a speed. Let's go ahead and do, maybe instead what we should do is, let's see, time speed, SPEED. I'm wondering. Because the thing, like I said, the keys have a speed, so the rate at which they will move. But there's also, or originally I had a timer that would start here, and then would track the amount of time it takes to get to here. So is it the case that we aim for a certain amount of time or start a timer to do, when would you spawn the nodes? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So the idea behind rhythm games is that there is this list of notes, and let me see if it is here, possibly, but nope, it's not. Okay. You have a list at the time notes are supposed to spawn. And depending on that spawn list is when your notes are spawned. You can see here, this is the spawn list, the time it tells us when the next note occurs. But the issue we're running into right now is that the note's really delayed. Or when the note should spawn, it's spawning, but it's spawning like 5 seconds after when it should be at the center of the screen. So we need to figure out why it's all the way over here when it should be here in point in time. Let's see. Distance time times delta time speed. That's what I'm thinking, possibly. But then, what's the thing you modify for when you're doing this calibration test? The distance time, I think, is like a, what is it? It's like, delta time. Yeah, I think delta time might be important, but it's just, where do you apply delta time at? That's the thing. Right now, how it's counting and everything, that also might need to be updated. I think the audio, what is it? The audio latency, that's good. Visual latency, so the time it takes to get from one point to the other, I think that's where we really need to figure out the issue at. right now the visual latency is the position of the offset, or at least the, if we go back to Discord, not Discord, if we go back to Godot, you can see here, this guy here, and let me end this process. We go back into key. This guy here, the idea is that the key position will stay the same, but this is, oh, you can't see it, hold on. This is the position, this guy here is the offset position. So the position stays the same, but this is what was modifying the offset. If I click on here, you can see as well the key as a speed. The speed, I'm wondering just the distance between to and from. That is, the speed is interesting to note. That's the thing we do have to pay attention to. So is it a thing of delta time to get, yeah, whatever time it takes to get from point A to point B, that's why I'm thinking we might need to use a lerp. That's where the lerp idea comes into play. I've heard that magical word as well from time to time. So that's what I'm thinking, smoothing, right? Smoothing to get from point A to point B. If we do, let's see, back into concepts, what I'm thinking is, actually, I don't know. So a lot of this is just thinking. It's trying to rationalize our way out of the problem. There we go. Out of a problem and into a solution. So this distance time times delta times speed. Yeah. And then the distance time, this guy here is supposed to represent the time in the song. So song time. This guy here, song time. S-O-N-G, song time. T-I-M-E. Song time. For example, the note might appear at 2 seconds in, right? So let's just do it here. 2 seconds in. If the note appears 2 seconds in, the idea is that this will have to appear 2 seconds before it's supposed to appear, as it's supposed to get from here to here in that distance time. Well, I guess again, that's where the thing of it comes into play of how do you solve for X, how do you solve for Y? What we want to figure out is the time distance it takes to get from that point A to point B. So saying that 2 seconds there, the song time, all of those things, let me just draw this here to make this a little bit easier for me to remember. Song time, which is that 2 seconds, which is the distance time. How do we figure out the distance time? Is that where delta then comes into play? Do we figure out the distance time by using the delta of the player on screen? Do we figure out the delta with speed times? Yeah, speed times distance. So instead, it is a thing of, yeah, okay. Maybe distance time is delta and song time. So for example, when you play the note on the screen, when that note gets played, there is a delta that gets into it, that plays into it. So I'm wondering, when that guy appears on screen, maybe what we can do is just get the delta time of it. For example, when that guy appears, so this guy to this guy here, the visual indicator, maybe what we do is have the song play. It doesn't include delta time, but I'm just thinking. The time it takes to get from here to here would be the song amount time, and when you get it perfect, that's when the song lines up. So we just take that time that it takes from when the game mode starts to when the note appears in the center. Possibly that could be a thing we do, maybe for that distance time, and then depending on that time, then we can multiply by delta. Do some delta imaging to see about possibly modifying a bit. Let me go ahead and get this to home name. So tasty, I tell you. Okay. So saying all of that, if we go back into here, the way I was saying and let me go ahead and, oh, nope, we're good here. Let's go ahead back to our visual latency test. In here, we have an actual test, and the test guy is, the way it's supposed to work is, again, this guy's supposed to spawn eventually, and once the game mode starts, it continuously restarts depending on when you do it in time. And you can see here, right? Player pressed at this time. So it takes the time of the song that it's pressed on. That's why I was saying delta time is already factored into the game. That's why I'm wondering, visually, in the song, when it is at that point in time. That's why I'm wondering. So my question then becomes, is delta time in this guy here? Where are we at? This. Is delta time in this equation here? The output latency, playback position, time since last mix. I think delta time's already in here, is my assumption. let's go ahead and go into, let's see, here. And if I go ahead and do delta time is, let's see, Godot for rhythm get song position. That should tell us, I think. Godot for get song position, how to get song with position next beat of position for label. Usually, let's see, time to next beat is simply the time of the current beat plus the distance between beats. Probably just the BPM. Nope, we don't want that guy there. Yep. Good news is now we don't have to worry about BPM and things like that. They're not of our needs. Let's see, currently for synchronizing the game, do a bunch of hoops. Okay. So this guy here is, I think, the sync the gameplay audio with audio and music. Okay, let's see. Let's go back into this guy here. In my any application sound will have a slight delay. For games, this delay is often small. Sound effects will come only a few milliseconds. For music, that does not matter, as most games, still for games, rhythm games, it may be required to recognize players' actions with happening in something in the song. Achieving with very low playback time precision is difficult. This is because of many factors. Audio mixed in chunks, graphics. The most common way to reduce latency is to shrink the audio buffers. This is a common trade-off, so Godot ships it with sensible defaults. Using the system clock to sync. As mentioned before, if you call, using the sound hardware clock, using audio stream playback position to obtain the current position of the song sounds ideal, but it's not that useful, as in this value will increment in chunks. Yeah, so then you do another thing I know. Here's the same code. It's this guy here, but then there was one more thing. I had playback position, get time since last mix, and then get output latency. And in this guy here, what they're talking about, they have playback position, time since last mix. Okay, so to increase precision, subtract latency information, how much it takes for the audio to be heard after it was mixed. Latency position, playback position, output since last latency. The result may be jittery due to how multiple thread works, just check the value is not less than the previous frame. Yeah, okay. So this delta guy here is where the delta would be, but then time is, yeah. Time minus equals, and then output. Time is so-and-so, and hope you figured this out. Oh yeah. I've been at this for like a few weeks, but thank you for stopping in, Polytheme. Thanks for stopping in. It was nice to see a colorful face and colorful emotes. Oh boy. I think at this point it's been like a month of just calibration pain. It's like, oh yes, I want to make video games, but they never tell you this part, the pain that comes along with this sort of thing. Okay, so using the system clock, as mentioned before, sound will not begin immediately, but when the audio thread. Yeah, and these two, it's possible to guess almost exactly when the sound or music will begin playing during process. Long run, as the sound hardware clock is never exactly in sync with the system clock, the timing information. Using the sound hardware clock to sync. Okay, so what I'm wondering is, this guy here, the playback position, the time when the player presses the button. Player pressed at so-and-so time, player pressed at so-and-so time. I'm thinking this might be when we do the button there. If we go back into this guy, where are we at? This guy here, right? This guy checks our audio sound. The second test, that test of figuring out the visual latency on test. I'm thinking this guy might have to visually align with the audio. You can see here player scored, on player scored, if not in session, so and so on. No typing sound has been set, time recorded, offset updated to. And this is where we do the visual offset. So I'm wondering, instead of this visual offset guy here, what we can do is just record when the audio, or when the audio currently is, the current audio position. So what we could possibly do is, on this test, we have ability, ready, player scored, so and so on and so forth, set up, average results, start test, cancel test, yeah, okay. And in our test, we have something like get song position, update song position, okay. Update song position, var, new song position, and then song position, okay. So what I'm thinking is possibly, what we can do instead is do song position when we do the player calculation. So instead of the time recorded in this visual latency test, maybe what we do instead is do, not this guy, result append visual offset. Maybe instead what we do is do, now go ahead and just comment this out for a second. Offset results.append. We go ahead and do test dot song position, like this. That way, this tells us when the player pressed it at a certain time. In code, my mind goes blank. That's what it feels like most of the times. And hi, ruined by the internet. Welcome to stream. Welcome to the not so fun side of programming, figuring things out when they don't work. But welcome all the same. So offset results.append, I'm thinking will record when the player pressed the key time during the song. D-U-R-I-N-G. During the song, right? Possibly? And when the player record when the player pressed the key time during the song. And that guy. And then we have on here time recorded. And we'll just go ahead and do, time recorded. And we'll go ahead and, we don't even need to remove those guys. I'm thinking this might work instead. And if the player can't, so set streak to 0 since streak is broken. I don't know if we have to do the offset guy anymore, the visual offset guy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and, hold on. Do this guy here, offset updated to, restart test if incomplete. We're gonna comment this guy out for now. And then what we'll do is after we get our average results, print offset results, new offset so-and-so. Once the test is ended, we can go ahead and say, oh, this is ended. And then instead of this visual offset here, we'll go ahead and say in our spellcasting minigame, just to test the waters, this guy up here, I'm thinking instead of doing audio latency, it's going to be visual offset. See if that works, if that is the guy to go for. Let's give it a go. A good old Godot and see if it works out. See how well it fares. So let me go ahead and mute this guy here. Go ahead and mute this guy and hello purple. Hi D-Jack. Welcome back to stream. I hope you've been doing well. Welcome back to truly the pain of programming. But I mean, I'm having fun figuring it out. The only issue is the time sink. But we're working things through. Let's go ahead and click on here. Start test. Okay, let's see. Okay. Base. Okay, and let's go, Godot. Exactly, that's the spirit. Okay, let's see. Natural node, modified node, test incomplete. Hit. Wrong key, test incomplete, restarting. The hope is to get 3 perfects now. Hit. Okay, this is perfect. Time recorded. 5.39. Hit. This is okay. All right. So the time recorded 5.34. 5.3. And then this is where it would come onto screen with the audio. Whenever you hit the perfect guy here, this is where okay, so 5.39. And then from there, the idea is that now that the audio is 5.39, does it sync up? Was the hope in question. Let's see. Flash teleport 1. Let's do the good old check. Sweet bitter cookie. Okay. So it would appear no. That is not the way the game would work. And I've been distracted by the grind. I need to come back to these mandatory sessions with cute anime game dev girl. I do appreciate it. As you can see, you've missed not quite anything. I don't know what happened. My assumption is I mean, it kind of looks like it works, right? O-V-E-S, space, M-O-A-N-X-O. Nope, never mind. E-space. F-O. E-space. Things are way off. So my guess is, the issue now is, because it takes about the 5 point so-and-so seconds, let's just, for experiment's sake, modify the key speed. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on here, open up our key, go to here, this key screen here. And let's go ahead and do our key speed as speed, and then let's right now 4. Let's change it to like 8, maybe. So let's double the speed. And you know what? For good measure, let's go ahead and add on that delta time. That's speed, right? The key, and then we can go ahead and do where are we at? Ready? Nope, we want position. Speed equals 0. This is old code on debug timer. Let's see, set icon, ready. Where do we use our speed? Oh, speed times, and then this would be delta. Like that. That's where this guy wants to go. Like that. Position plus equals speed. Okay. Now let's try. How does this go? No clue. Let's see. Okay. Great. Hit. 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 Okay. And now for the moment of truth. Let's see. I don't see the note. I see the note now, all right? He's so small. He's so slow. Like a little turtle. Just like what the video said about the speed being very slow, right? I should have believed it. Look at it go. All right, hold on. Let's just do there. There you go. Let's go ahead and probably you want it like maybe 400. Let's try 400. Oh, why are you so slow? Make you like 800. How about that, huh? Oh, okay. Wait, no. Let's not get crazy here. 700. Okay. Maybe 600? Try 600. Goes back to slow. Huh, okay. 700. Okay. Let's try this. Let's see. Is it slow again? He's so slow moving. I feel like there should be a countdown and you need to press space when it says 0. That would be, do you mean audio or visually a countdown? Can you describe it a little bit more? Because from what I'm learning, those are two different things. The audio, when you hear it, that delay between hearing it and pressing the button, and then there's a visually between seeing it connect and hitting the button. That's why there's no audio sound that goes on when you're trying the other parts. Let me go ahead and do this guy here. Great calibration. Let's try again. Hit. 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 Yep, okay. Now this guy here. For some reason, oh! So fast! Alright. So player present. Oh, definitely not. I might need to be slower than the 700. This is poor. At least it's registering now, but you can see key pressed that. Key pressed at 3. Yeah, okay. So, possibly, oh, that's perfect, okay. Okay, possibly, let's see how this works out. If I go ahead and click this guy here, my idea is that why it's glitching out of the, oh, hold on. Let's see if we can do how fast we can do this. Hit. Nope. Okay, hold on. And hit. Nope. This is okay. This is where our range would come into play. In increasing the range, you can see key pressed at 4. Hit. Okay. Let's see if... And the issue as well is, can you really tell what's going on when it's doing that speed? I just made the calibration for just a quick second, something like 2.5 or 2.8, that works. 2.8, let's go back into our levels and teleport. And I'm bad at typing games. The hope is that my typing game will be available or accessible to all skill types. I didn't want a Granny's game, but I also didn't want something like Dance Dance Revolution or Friday Night Funkin' or Osu levels of difficulty. I wanted it to be a medium level game where there's some harder ones, some easier ones, but I wanted it to be fun for the whole family. That was the hope of the game. Let's see. Oh, exclamation T, E, and space B, nope. So it seems to be the case that it is kind of working, but you can't see what's going on now. So maybe 500 is the speed we worry about. And if the goal is to calibrate the timing of the audio versus the key press, then there should be a beat, and the player has to press space on the 4th beat. On the audio sound, do you mean? So you're saying I should replace this guy here, this test here, where you test the audio? If the goal is to calibrate the timing to the audio, yeah, that would be this guy. So you're saying it should be like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 instead, right? And hi, Moon Raider. Welcome back to stream. And what are we doing? Calibration. Trying to figure out why this calibration is angry and does not like us. So let's see. Hit. Yeah, got ya. Yeah, that can definitely be changed. This is more so of a placeholder just to try to get a feel for how things should go. But yeah, I can see it definitely being 1, 2, 3, 4. Not calibration. Oh yeah. Calibration is painful, I tell you. And see, that's the thing. When it's super fast, I can't tell what is going on. I can't tell that that's a space. So I'm thinking possibly 500, not the case, maybe 400. That should be a little bit better, possibly. Let's go ahead and do calibration. Let's do start test. And I'm just gonna speed through this guy here. This is the real kicker. Let's see. Space. Okay, I think this might be a little bit better. This guy might be the guy we need. Space. This is poor, so let's see. Let's see. Space. This is okay. All right. Hold on. And space. Nope. The thing is, this isn't supposed to be about audio. It's supposed to be about visually when you see it on the screen. Though it could be confusing because you can't hear it, so you're trying to figure out where that perfect is, and because you can't hear it, you can't get that visual representation. That could also make it difficult to calibrate. This guy here, let's see, let's wait a little bit longer. The thing is, I do plan to tweak the perfect eventually, or the ranges. We could also do that now to see if that helps at all, as it does feel a little bit like it's right now up in the wind about where that calibration is. I can't agree to that. Let's see. Hit. Oh, hold on. Waiting. Hit. Nope. Okay. Give it a second. Waiting. Hit. Nope. And I see. Shouldn't rush perfections. Oh, let's not get too carried away. This is still my second ever game and my first ever attempt at the rhythm game. But I've been trying to figure out methods to my madness. But again, I am no expert. I'm probably getting a lot of this wrong, and I'm not afraid to say it. And I do appreciate your input, as for me at least, the better. Sometimes, it's not good to have a lot of chefs in the kitchen, but in this instance, where we all don't know what we're doing, the more ideas, the better, I feel like. Or at least, it doesn't hurt to try on certain things. But yeah, I can see it having a more so 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of this stuff is just trying to figure out, does it work? Because if I change the audio every so often, it would be a lot to do. And just so these are placeholders, for example. The sounds, possibly. But I do like the key clack sounds. Let's see. And hit. Okay. And hit. Nope. And Runecast can't even beat the first level of Friday Night Fun. Oh, no. Yeah, see, there's some levels in Friday Night Funkin' that are just scary. But I do understand that. Yeah, I don't want Friday Night Funkin' difficulty. That was not my goal. Let's see. Hit. No. Hold on. We might be here a while. Me too, like what? Yeah, Friday Night Funkin' is an interesting one. Hit. Okay. Wait for it. And hit. Okay, one more. We only need one more. And hit. Yeah! Alright, 441. Let's see how close it gets to, if that even helps in the slightest. Teleport to 1. Okay, let's go ahead and where are we at? This guy here. Mute this audio for a second. Let's go back to this guy here. See if the typing part of the game works. Now we can assume, because of all the jumbled, it does not. I can tell you right away, it does not. So now my question then becomes, how can we fix this? If we make it any faster, I feel like it's difficult to see. For example, if we make the speed, I think like 500. Yeah, 500 to the 400. I'd like a WHIFFLI very fast. I think it would be like everything is breaking. But I feel like this is okay. Oh, I made it 42. It's supposed to be 400. Like that. There we go. This is a little bit more acceptable. Maybe even 300. Possibly for the speed, but it's that question. Let's see. Let me click on this guy here. Okay. So I think in some aspect we have and no click noises or sound effects. For some reason, that's broken. I assure you, in the game, there. You know what? You don't even have to believe me. I'll show you. I'll show you all. Wait, don't I? if you go to the current version of the game that's up on itch, it's working. The sound effects are sound effecting. Let me show you. But for some reason, in this version I'm working on at the moment, we go up here, right? Just go up here really quickly, just show you. It's a current bug in the game. I click on here, bitter, sweet, cake. Alright? See? Now, granted, the timing is off, but there are sounds. But for some reason, I messed up something and now there's no audio sounds for feedback in the this version. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but they do exist. For some reason, something along the lines disabled them. The beauties of programming. So let's see. I think the position process is a good idea. Maybe that's it. Maybe, just maybe, the timer that we had, right, for that speed. Let's how you say it, speed and positioning, right? This guy here, I had a timer. Maybe that timer didn't work because of delta time, possibly. How can we? I'm wondering. Because the thing is, why the notes are jumbled up together is because there's a bit of a buffer between when the notes spawn and when it's delayed. If we go back into concepts, just so I can show you. We go back into here. The idea is that if it's somewhere along here, I've written it before. Yeah, here. There is a bit of an area here, right? So for example, if you're supposed to press the note at 10 seconds into the song, the latency or the delay might be 2 seconds. So the note has to spawn in that 8 seconds so that it takes 2 seconds to get to the 10 seconds. But the issue we're running into is that sometimes, or right now at least, the 2 seconds is greater than the 10 seconds, as in, because it's greater than the time it takes to spawn in, all the notes are getting jumbled in together since they can't reach that note time in the distance traveling. Well, the solving to that is either make the note faster so it fits into this wiggle room of time we have or something else. And what kind of wings do I get for dinner? I like your typical wings, your basic wings. Those are the tastiest. Like, I find them lovely. So, if we're looking at that, then, if not notes is empty, var next note, float notes, utility, yeah, okay. Right now, we've modified this distance. I'm thinking possibly, maybe our original system can work now? Possibly. Now that we added delta. Maybe delta was just the friends we made along the way. And what if spawn all the notes at the same time? Can you elaborate a little bit, Flagel? Do you mean have the notes off to the side? Someone did suggest, right, having, instead of having 20 notes, for example, and a list of 20 notes to spawn, you would, at the start of the game, have only like, let me move this guy up here, have 5 notes, and then as the note comes in, as soon as it's used, it heads back to the pieces of notes as they're spawned. The issue is the travel time, the travel distance. For example, the 2 seconds it takes to get from position A to position B. So the 2 seconds. So for example, if the note is supposed to happen at 3 seconds into the game, right? 3 seconds. And the travel distance, the travel TRAVEL, the travel time is 1 second, right? 1 second. That means you would have to spawn it at 2 seconds into the time so that 3 seconds get in there. But what if the travel time is, where are we at? The travel time is 4 seconds. That's greater than the 3 seconds. That's what the issue is right now. This travel time is greater than this, so all of the notes are spawning jumbled together because they're getting confused. When am I supposed to spawn? That time is already passed. And can you put through the fire and flame expert mode? I definitely do want to have harder difficulties. I like a little bit of a challenge, but not too painful. Or at least I want it for people who want a challenge, but that's not the demographic I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for the casual people, the semi-casuals. You're filthy casual. But I don't want OSU players playing the game. I don't want it that level hard because I can't play that hard. And I want to enjoy my game. I want fun cafe times. I don't want sweaty, try-hard times where it's so hectic and maniac and back and forth and back and forth. I do want moments of that, but that's not what I want the game to overall be. Hence why I'm aiming for the more moderate, with a little bit of easy, a little bit of hard. So if this travel time is the 4 seconds, I was hoping that delta time would be able to get us across the finish line. This guy here, or the original way we had it set up, it wasn't accounting for delta time. So that's why I'm saying, maybe if we go back to the old way it was doing things, so if we go back to here, this was timer-based, but it wasn't delta timer-based. So it had variance depending on what the computer was doing. There was a timer, when the timer is up, the note should be at the spot. But delta time wasn't added on here, so you got stuff like this happening whenever the player would do different things, from full screen to small screen, from different things. So that's why I'm wondering, maybe if we just add delta time to account for those variants, maybe? Because for some reason, the speed increases or decreases. Maybe that's what delta time can solve for. And hi, Jose Gregor. First time watching. I also decided to start my journey of becoming an indie dev this year last week, so I really like your content. I do appreciate it. And welcome all the same. I hope you have fun making your games. As hard as this may be, I think it's almost been like a month of me working on trying to get calibration working. But if it's one thing I can say, don't make rhythm games for like your first or second game. Maybe save it for like your 10th game. It's so difficult. And I didn't want difficult. I wanted a fun, a little challenging, just a little bit. On like on a scale of 1 to 10, I was hoping to aim for like a 6. This feels like a 9. That's way above my pay grade. Oh boy, but I'm still having fun. Even if it's going to take me a bit of time, you know what? I'm here for the ride, the journey. And what engine did you decide to use? I used Godot 4. That would be this guy here. That guy there. Godot, well, it's Godot version Godot 4. That's the guy I've decided to use. As I like the feel of Godot. And the wiki decided to learn the basics of Godot and pixel art on Sprite. Ooh, how fun! It's always fun. The beginning part of journeys is always, I think, the best part. It's like, oh man, I get to do all the planning, all the pizzazz. But then, as you go on learning, it's that thing of, oh, I'm actually in very deep than I realized. And that's where the real fun begins. But oh, it's painful, but it's fun. It's that thing of, gotta hurt a little to give a little to get a lot. Yes. That's the words I'm thinking of. But I hope you have fun making games, truly. Let's see. Saying that, maybe we can go back to that timer idea I had, possibly, instead of all of this stuff. Then again, I'm probably going to be here at the same exact spot that I am. We've been over the past few weeks looking at the way different rhythm games implement different things. I think the best example for this was the Crypt of the Necromancer. Just so we're all on the same page, and for me too, as a refresher in terms of how the game works, let's look at the game again, see how it plays out, and see if we can figure out why theirs works, but mine, something's off about mine. So I can go ahead and go into this guy here, I believe, wait for the game to load up, and then I should be able to bring you into the game. I go ahead and do here, and this guy here, yep. And I also hope you have fun making the game. Yeah! It's fun, alright. A little painful, but you know what? Like I said, I'm enjoying it. Despite all its trials and tribulations. So here's the game, Crypt of the Necromancer. And hey, I was just wondering, I can't deal with retyping all of my code because of an error. You can definitely string elifs in Python, right? I would not know. The only programming experience I have is from C++, and I was using Visual Studio back in my college days. And from there, I switched over to using Godot. So I only know of GDScript and Godot, and C++ in Visual Studio. Those are the only two I know of. So here in Crypt of the Necromancer, let's take a, oh, let me mute this guy as well. I believe the audio should be audioing, right? Good, okay. And yeah, okay, I think it's fine. Good then. I mean, a lot of people don't like a lot of if else. But if it works for you, it works for you. I don't think there's any shame in it might not be the most optimized of code, but if it works, it works. Step 1 is always making sure it's working. Step 2 is making sure it's optimal, but optimized, but sometimes you don't need that in certain games. Let's go ahead into options here. Let's go ahead into latency calibrations. Calibrate automatically. So this is what I was talking about between visual and audio calibrations. The idea is that when you see the bars meet up in the center, that is the visual calibration. It's interesting. I did audio calibration first. Here they're doing visual calibration first. Maybe that's the key here. So all I'm doing is just when the notes meet in the center, I click it. So there's no music going on, there's no beats going on. It's a consistent timing, but there's no music playing. I have to keep my own beats. So let's see. Up, 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 up. I don't think, oh, no, we're good. Up. So now this is the audio part of the calibration. Now when you hear the sound, press the button. Let's see. Down, 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 funky beat. It's the sound. Down, 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 down. And that's the calibration of Crypto the Necromancer in a nutshell. Which is good. I really like the way this is. We've taken a look at other versions of calibration from different games, but I think for our purposes, Crypto the Necromancer seems to be the one that we should come the closest to looking at in terms of research and studying and figuring out, oh, this works. Why does this work? We took a look at a game called Melatonin. We've also looked at Rhythm Doctor 2 to see their different calibrations and how they feel, and also even Rhythm Heaven. But overall, Crypto the Necromancer seems to be the one. And I didn't know that the visual was first. Right now in mine, I believe the audio, audio comes first and then visual. So maybe the visual is the one that should come first. And then we have the audio offset. When you hear the sound, possibly like that, maybe this is the key. So for visual, we have the visual guy coming along and doing its thing up in the house. Possibly. Maybe that's the key. I've been doing it reverse the entire time. So if we go back into our, let's see where we at. Our programming here. The idea was that initially there was a timer to test everything and to use a mouse or a pen for a sprite. I use a tablet, not a screen tablet, but a Wacom Intuos Pro, I believe, the bamboo one. And I use that one for drawing, as you can see, like in concepts and also for a sprite. Sometimes I use the mouse, but I have bad wrist. My wrists are very delicate and sensitive, so I try my best not to use the mouse if I can, but sometimes I do. Let's see. Okay, I did read that. Lovely. Okay. So what I'm thinking is, back in our visual latency latency just set up an initial timer for our guy to see about the distance it takes to do. And then depending on our timer, possibly the distance between to and fro, maybe that delta time can account for it. That's what I'm wondering and seeing if it can make a difference. And before we do that, let me go ahead and have that ad break run, since the ad break wants to do the ad breaky thing in a second. Let's have it do it now to save time. Oh, that's a little bit too loud. Let me try to be a little bit quieter. So tasty, and if I get one more indent error, I will set my computer on fire. Flame shall burn. I remember I once had a bug where it was just this. Well, not that, it was this. This here. It was like that, and I could not figure out what it meant. Mixed use of tabs and spaces. The thing is, Godot has a little option that lets you see when you use a tab and when you use a space. You can kind of see, right? This little dot stands for a space, and this little guy, this symbol here, stands for a tab. So now I can tell when I use spaces and when I use tabs. It made it easier. But I can definitely get your thing, Moon. I had that problem for a while until I turned that setting on. It made things a lot easier to debug. Sometimes, not even sometimes, that right there will break your game. That little space, that little thing right there, and if you don't know what you're looking for, it hurts. It hurts the soul, inside and out. Let me make this a little bit smaller. And when we come back from the break, what are we supposed to be doing? We are supposed to be adding a timer to our key again. I had a key timer in here initially, and that's what I deleted earlier. Let's see. let's go ahead and do undo. Delta, position, yep, copy. Undo. There we are. Speed, undo. Speed, there we are. Now let's just go ahead and do that guy there. Yep. And then on debug timer, this is where the speed would equal the thingamajiggy. So that was the idea, that there is this timer, and on the timer end, it should line up with the spot, and then we can kind of modify it just a smidge, depending on what and fro was the hope of the aim of the game, so to speak. So, with that all said and done, let me get some water. Oh, tasty. Okay. So, actually, you know what? The break time is break time. Let me also blow my nose. I look terrible, I tell you. We're all good to go. And my sanitizer is right here. Okay. Nice and easy for it. And that break's almost over. Lovely. For a second, I thought the mic wasn't muted. I got worried. My trumpet noises would be leaked. That would be terrible, I tell ya. But the ad break is done. So, what I wanted to do is, on this debug timer, the timeout. So we need a debug timer in our key guide. I'm wondering if this timer will help us again. You can see on here this timer here. Now, what I'm wondering is, does the timer account for delta time? So if I go ahead and just Google that really quickly, let me make a new tab. Delta timer, or Godot 4, does timer account for delta time? Let's see. Yes, the built-in timer functions as delta time. Yep, okay. So, since it accounts for delta time, we don't have to worry about delta time. So I truly think, just modifying, I'm back and here to say, welcome back, Lusk. I hope your momentary break was nice and lovely. And how are we? Same exact spot, you missed nothing whatsoever. Is the life of the Pixos. So back on this timer here, what I'll go ahead and do is do debug timer here, T-I-M-E-R, debug timer. And then back in our notes here on timer timeout connect, and then we have on debug timer timeout. That's what this guy is supposed to be. So this guy here, the speed equals 0. So the idea was that we had this guy, this wait time guy, and then depending on the timer, depending on the variables, that was the hope that timer would depend on its own thing. But the hope was that 2.5 speed, this guy would do its own thing. The idea was if we go back into our mini game, this guy here, the key would spawn off screen. So let me go ahead and drag and drop a key onto here. This guy here, this key scene. And this key should be the same Y. So our key listener, that's that big guy here. The Y is 0. So this key here is a 0. I don't believe so. Position. There we go. Yeah, okay. So position, you're supposed to be, let's see, transform, where are you at? Position, there we are. 620, 400. Let's go ahead and do, let's see, position and 400. And then we had the Y outside of the screen. So if we go back to the key listener, it should say like a spawn. Let's see, perfect X, nope. Poor, okay. Is it in here in our spellcasting minigame? Yep, there we are. Starting key 700. So we'll go back into here and we'll go ahead and do this guy here on our key. You can do position and our X should be plus 700. And that's where it would spawn at. So now the hope is that once we start this key timer, it should end. And now that we have the delta time and all of that now working as it should, hopefully it stays consistent and acts the way we think it should act. I think maybe because we didn't add delta time previously, that's why the timer didn't do its timer things, and that's why on my computer it worked one way, but on everyone else's computer, it decided not to. Let me go ahead and do auto start in one shot. So if we go ahead and click on the minigame and start the minigame, the hope is that this guy will line up here, and all those variables that we had previously can be fixed. So let's go ahead and click on run current scene, that's this guy here. And we should hopefully see, oh, you can't see it, hold on. there we are. If we go to this guy here, and then this guy here. Lovely, now you can see it. That guy's a little bit late. So then what we do is just go back to this key timer here and do like 2.2. Try that guy. So let's go ahead and stop it, start it again. And this is key. Oops, wrong guy. It should be your minigame guy. And let's go ahead and click play on the scene. And then what do we get? We wait for it to happen, and we want these guys to line up. This needs to be a little bit more, so maybe like 2.25 or maybe 2.3 is the time we need to do. Go ahead and stop this guy, click on play here. See about that guy, so debug time. Oh, nope, wrong guy. Spellcasting minigame, and go ahead and click on here, run current scene. What happens now? We want it to line up to this guy here, so a little bit more, probably like a 0.5 somewhere. So on this key guy, 2.35. Let's try that guy back in our minigame. Click play again. Where are we at? We wait for this guy to do its thing. Let's see. A little bit less, so probably 3, 4. Let's see, 3, 4. Make sure that guy's there. And this would be the time and distance. The delta time is already getting calculated, is the hope, because timer does delta time, and we already now have the speed of this guy. So the consistency should be more reliable. I think before it wasn't reliable, maybe that's why our delta time was as bad as it was, but let's see, a little bit less. So maybe, let's see, key guy here, 2.34, 2.33. Let's give that a good old try. Let's go back to our mini game. Click on play here. What do we get? What do we have? Let's see. Yeah, there we are. And the hope is that I can go ahead and stop this guy, play it again. It should still line up, that 2.33. And nope. So see, that was the issue that we were running into. It reacted differently every time you did it. And because this guy isn't consistent, it's not going to be consistent on other people's computers. We want this guy to line up. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's where the calibration came into play. So if I do it again, yeah, it's now not consistently doing the 3, 4, 3, 5, which is unfortunate. I'll give it one more try, but I think it's just going to, yeah, okay. So, I'm curious to see, maybe if we do 3, 2, does that change it at all if we go back into this guy here? And interesting, yeah, this was the initial issue we had. That's why I had this was when I had the timer-based system. But sometimes, well, not sometimes, the timer didn't do the timer thing consistently. When that timer stopped and all the speed and everything. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but it didn't line up accurately enough. I thought it worked for my computer and it sometimes did, but as you can see, whenever I restart it, right, sometimes there's a big gap, sometimes there's a small gap. That's where the calibration, this isn't even calibration, right? This is the time, the actual delta time it takes to get from point A to point B. And that's why I'm wondering, maybe it's a thing of just maybe checking for the delta time it takes, or is there a way to do some sort of stopwatch so that we can get a absolute of when it should under certain perfect circumstances reach this area, and then we kind of add that little wiggle room of delay depending on the person's computer, because sometimes it works, sometimes it's functional, sometimes it's not. So I'm a little confused. But again, it's the thing of we have a mystery bug, but it's a work in progress. And let's see why you choose to do a typing game. If I go back to here really quickly to show you, back in Obsidian. This is Obsidian, right? Lovely. Okay. I click this guy here. As I was talking about before with college, back in college, I made a final project called Console Cafe Simulator. You can also play it if you want on my itch, but it was this game you could play on the console, and it had to do with typing. So the hope was that for my second game I've ever made, I wanted to do something, a kind of updated version of this typing game where you had to type in characters in order to serve customers. So that's where the typing part of the cafe portion came, since it was a typing cafe game. And since I wanted to update it, that's where the idea came from. But then the rhythm portion came because I didn't want people who are really good at typing to be really good at the game. I wanted it to be I wanted it to be I want to have a wider audience, not just your keyboard people. So I added the rhythm to even out the playing field, was the hope, and making it rhythm and typing. Originally, it was just a typing game, a typing cafe game. And doesn't the timer use delta time? It does indeed, Les, yeah. The timer uses delta time, and now we also use delta time. That was one thing I wasn't using before. Now the key itself does use delta time. That was where we at. Our position, yeah. Now we do use delta time as part of it. The process is supposed to be for visuals, right? Physics process is something else entirely, but we have the position.x minus equals speed times delta. That's working, and then the timer, that's this guy here, as soon as the game starts, start the timer. That's why I'm wondering, what's the issue here, timer? What are you asking about? What are you talking about? Okay. Thinking and I'm wondering, and it is a little bit, tricky, right? But it's a small fix and probably something I might have to do more reading on. Let me just make this guy a little bit bigger, this guy a little bit bigger, and you get to be my food content today. While you're eating your tasty food, you get to watch me struggle and wither in pain. What could be more entertaining? I'm gladly happy to be it. And process depends on FPS, while physics doesn't. So if I do _physics process like this, does it decide to be reliable? Is what you're saying, like this? And then if I go ahead and do play now on our minigame, like this, let's see. Exactly. I see. Nope, you can't see it, hold on. If I reopen this guy here, nope, this guy here, and then that guy here, lovely, okay. So then we set the timer to that 3.4 again, because that did seem to be the right time, or 3.3. Is it consistent? Because right now, this is the issue we're running into. Not even due to the person's rhythm, not rhythm, but the game itself being off. But is this the key? Is it that physics process? Let's see. Nope, it's not that. I added the physics process here, as you can see if I click on run current scene. And although using delta should have solved the issue, maybe there was some weird floating number error. That could possibly be it. But the thing is, as soon as the timer stops, the speed turns to 0. So whatever the timer is when it should line up, is the hope for the game. Then maybe the issue is I'm trying to be too specific with the game. Maybe you don't have to be hyper accurate. Again, for a game that is very, what's the word I'm looking for? For a game that is very specific, maybe, or not very specific, but on the try hard scale, or not even try hard, but just the expert level, right? Maybe accuracy is super important. For something that's more on the casual side, maybe accuracy isn't as important. That's to say, maybe, possibly, and this is not just code, maybe this is all the accuracy has to be. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's a little bit else. Maybe it starts a little after before the note spawns. Possibly. At that time, maybe what we do is after ready, we do timer.start. Let me try it that way. Instead of auto start, we'll just do timer.start. So we can try that. Let's see, on ready var. Let's go ahead and do access a unique node. Debug timer. Go ahead and copy you here, here, and then do on ready, after ready, debug timer.start. Something like that maybe could help. And then let's go ahead and do on here, run on here. Let's see. Yep, okay. And then this guy, all right, that did its thing that time. How about this time? Let's see, does it do before, after? Right, accurate. Interesting, really? Is it gonna do it again? Let's see. Accurate? All right, it seems consistent now. I'll do it a few more times. This is the best way to get the best of scientific data here. But it looks like it's working now, where it's lining up when the timer ends, right? When the timer is done, it seems to be the case that now, after putting it there, and this calls for 10,000 tests. I forget what the testing is called when you do it like this. It's not called bulk testing, it's called something else. It's the actual programming term for it, but it seems to be the case that it's working now. Yes, I jinxed it. Unit testing. Yep, that's what it's called. Unit testing. So as I was saying before, maybe this is good enough. Maybe it does not have to be perfect. They called us fools. Hi, Senapa. Welcome to stream. Maybe that is the issue of the game. Right now, it is too specific. So maybe instead, for example, the key listener, this guy here, maybe he's a little bit bigger. Maybe we are more forgiving in the game. And that can help us in the sense of, now that we're more forgiving, we don't have to be as specific. We just have to get close enough. So when you get perfect, it feels nice. It feels okay. You know, it feels accurate. But then you know for a fact, when you're not accurate, you know you're very inaccurate. Let's see. Let's open this guy in editor. Right now, the key listener is Let's see the sprite size. I'm gonna make the sprite a little bit bigger. So the scale is going to be like 1.3 instead. Just a little bit bigger than the other guy. And then when we click the button, it should be like 1 and then 1.3. Yeah. So instead of sprite scale being, let's see. Okay. What I'll do is do var and do regular scale, regular, regular scale size, regular scale. And then it's a vector 2. And then we can go ahead and do, vector 2. And then it's going to be, vector 2 equals vector 2. And then we can go ahead and just set it to, vector 2. Right now it's just a vector 2. And then let's say vector 2. And maybe like a plus, minus, plus, possibly. Regular scale size. And then we have on here, big scale, large scale. And then we set that to like vector 2. And it'll be like a 1.5. And then in our ready, we can go ahead and do regular scale equals, and then we'll just do scale like that. Or our sprite.scale, hold on. Sprite.scale like that. And then when we do this button here, when we click it, if event is pressed, we go ahead and set it to our large scale, this large scale. And when it is released, we set it to our regular scale, like this. Regular scale, R-E-D-U, regular scale. Then when we click on the cancel and we go back to our spellcasting minigame, we go ahead and do run current scene, where are we at? It should be a lot bigger than the actual keynote. So now, now it feels like that perfect, right? That perfect area. Sometimes it's a little bit before, sometimes it's a little bit after, but I think this will be enough wiggle room where it's not too much one-to-one. And since that's the case, it's now no longer one-to-one. If we go ahead and go back to our key listener guy here in the sky, let's go ahead and just drag and drop the key really quickly into here so we can see what's going on. Nope. Why is this guy so big? Hold on, why is your scale so big? It's like this. This is like the key position. These are the guys responsible for telling us when we're at a correct position. The idea is that in order to get perfect, your key center has to be like it's like here, possibly. If we move our key over, not that one, our key, move our key over, I said the key. I just want to move this guy over, there we are. If we move this guy over, I'd say this counts as a perfect. I could see this possibly being perfect. So if that's perfect, I can go ahead and move this guy to about here, since this would be the kind of middle edge of the center. And then if that's perfect, this can possibly be okay. And then our pour range can also be increased just a smidge. You can go ahead and delete this guy here. So it's been modified a little bit. I can go also ahead and just move this guy a little bit here. We'll measure it out just a smidge like that. We'll go ahead and hide these guys. So the hope is that now it won't be as painful when it comes to measuring. And then what we do is, possibly, now what we can do is take this, not one shot it, we're not gonna start it. We take the wait time of the key, e.wait time. We can go ahead and, can you build a special version where everything is just perfect since I'm trash at the games? Maybe you'll just have like a secret code you can press, like a up, down, down, left, right. And then bam, anytime you press the key, maybe like casual mode or relax mode, where you don't have to worry too much about the typing. But again, it's supposed to not be very difficult. It's supposed to be more on the fun side. I'm dead. Well, how are you gonna eat if you're dead? You must rise like the living. Well, instead of here on our ready, what we'll then do is set this to, well, this should be fine. And then this debug timer. That's all this guy is for, just to stop and start. So now that we have that 2.33, the idea was that this key listener, or the spellcasting minigame, this is where that 2.33 came into place here. So the default latency is 2.33. And I think this guy only spawns here. So then, the idea was that on this update, no, not that guy there, this guy here, instead of it being that visual latency, this is how it was originally in the game. It was notes minus default latency. And measuring that in here, Ghost, have a memory flavored cookie. That is the way the game works. Memory flavored, memory based. So, with the modifications we made, it should be easier now, and hopefully it should feel nicer. The question then becomes the spawn time and everything. How does that work? How are we faring? If I put this online, is someone gonna try the game out, and is it going to be painful to watch the thing go zoom? Possibly, let's see. If I go ahead and click generate, H, E, space, B, Y, space, T, H, E, space, T. See? It feels like it's working, right?
Muckpie just subscribed.
Thank you for the subscription, Muckpie. I don't know why it called you Muckpie. But thank you. And welcome. Welcome to pain, as you can see. We have a lot of it here. And what would memory flavor be? Like a jasmine tea or straight emotion? Straight emotion, I tell you. Oh boy. Let's see if I click, hold on. Let's, I can never figure out the buttons that are supposed to do the, never mind. I tried to figure out the buttons. But I did see that message, Muckpie. Doing what I do. If I had to guess what you were saying. Oh boy. And raw, unfiltered emotion. Yeah, the idea is that, or the hope is that, maybe as the game goes on, maybe there's different ghosts that appear in the game. And the idea was that some ghosts are going to need sweet memories. They're going to need bitter memories. Maybe they're going to need spicy memories for the times they were embarrassed, something like that. And depending on the type of ghost, like maybe ghost color like with Pac-Man, that was the idea behind the different memory flavors. But that's way down the line. Right now, we're just trying to make the game work. Oh boy. Let's go ahead and undo this guy here. Okay, so for now, I think this will possibly fix our calibration. I'm sure it won't actually fix the calibration, and this is just a hope. This is just hopes, wishes, and dreams. But we're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes, and that's so cute. Thank you, Alaska. I'm glad you think so. I want to see if the what is it? The delta time actually makes any difference. And I'll be back. Had to step out in a hurry. Was it yay or nay with delta time? I'm not sure yet, Zero. It seems to work for me. I'm not sure how it's going to work for other people. So for now, we're going to see if delta time can just fix everything and we don't have to touch anything. If possibly delta time is the magic fix and we don't have to worry about doing the big difficult calibration test. Maybe. Possibly. So for the time being, we're going to do our if we can get the audio working, we're going to see if we can get this working for tomorrow, or not tomorrow, for posting today. That way we can get some feedback. For now, the calibration screen does not exist. The calibration screen is going to go into hiding, gotta believe. Hopefully. And what's nice about this is I can just do this, and now no more calibration screen. When I send this out and I put it online, calibration right now is disabled. Which is nice. That's how I do it for the, what are we at? For levels. How I have the debug level here. If we do levels menu, this guy here. There is a debug level, that's the test guy here. But for when the game actually is up on it, you can notice there's no test level. Because I can just hide it and show it depending on who the target is. And actually, I believe there's a way to check the game mode. Let's see. If, oh yeah, isn't that neat? So now I don't ever have to hide the, or hide or show the test. I can just say, if it's in debug build, show the test level. If it's not, hide it or keep it hidden. which is nice. That way I never have to hide it or show it. I sometimes accidentally hid it or showed it when I was uploading to Twitch. Thankfully, you know what? No one could do it, and she's keeping the goodies to herself. No, this is just maybe for people who watch the stream, I'll have like a secret code you can press, and then you can try all the buttons at your own risk. The debug. But for now, let's try to figure out what the time we have left. We have about like an hour-ish left. And hi, Ushishiman. welcome back. Oh, well, not welcome back. Welcome for the first time. And what a lovely name, Ushishiman. welcome. Hi. Saying all that, with the time we have left, we have like an hour-ish left. Let's see if we can figure out why the audio is not working. For some reason, in the current build version, and thank you, of course, in the current build version of the game, the audio when you press the key is not working. Oddly. Very oddly. If I go back into here, you can see, right? Teleport to, and what are you working on today? We were working on calibration, and thank you for popping in and asking, as now we can just do fixing bugs. There we are. Fixing bugs in my rhythm, HY, rhythm, typing TIPI, typing cafe, okay, here we are, fix that there. We were working on calibration for our game. I'm making a rhythm typing cafe game, and you wouldn't realize it, but you did miss the elevator in DD Lusk, unfortunately. But you know what? We had some complications at the beginning of stream, so you're A-okay. The hope is that you play as this character, right? This necromancer little girl here. Well, not little girl. She's in college. And the idea is that it's a cafe game, so you serve customers. Customers will go ahead and spawn. Let's see if it actually works. It does! Customers spawn, you have to seat the customers, and then you have to serve the customers. But the issue was, currently in the game, the customers weren't doing things properly. And it's working now, which is lovely to hear. You can also see... What? Huh? Hold on now. So, it seems like maybe today I might not be able to upload it depending on how well things do, or we're just not gonna, talk about how they floated. They don't need destruction, they need hugs. I'm zero and I speak for the bugs. I'm telling you, the bugs, the trees, the everything, really. I want to know why you slid. Your animation was off. It's moving, it's walking. They're sitting, they're reading their notes, but then they slid away. Awaiting waiter, and then they left. Then they slid. That should not happen. Their animation should not be waving. It should be exiting. So something is broken. I broke something while trying to fix something else. Wave back. Wave. Oh, I remember now. I was testing the customer stuff and things, and yeah, you can see they leave very quickly because I set the timer to be really fast. Walking and everything, and what are the bugs? But accidental cheats. They should walk away, not whatever that is. Move exiting. For some reason, the animation on the customers is wonky. So let's let's just now that we have the calibration for now temporarily fixed out, let's just go to our customers. This little guy here now. How I updated the customers as they were working, and then I refactored them. I updated them. Now all of their animations happen in this little guy here. Invalid exit type. Awaiting for waiter. Browse menu. Oh, is this the issue? Something's angry here. Hence why. Output. Yeah, parameters null. Interesting. Maybe we have to re-import it. This is what I get for using the And have you ever tried anything in 3D? Oh yeah. I've wanted to work, or I was working on a small side project in 3D before, but moonwalking. Just about, but eventually I do want to try making a small game in 3D as well. I want to try to get all the aspects of game dev. 3D, 2D, I want to try working in Blender. I want to try working in other programs that are just 3D and things like that, because there's just so many different topics to cover. Right now, it's just keeping things simple. So this guy here, the sprite, for some reason, the customer sprite, I'm gonna guess it has to do with maybe this guy here. Animation player, layers all, slices all, animation all, yeah. This is the customer sprite right now, and it should work. You can kind of see it, right? And Eastward does that. You really want to use 2.5D. Another one that does it is Octopath Traveler, and I love Octopath Traveler. And your niche is pixel art game style. Yep. I mean, Minecraft is a pixel art game, right? And it's 3D. There's tons of 3D games out there that are pixel art based, as it's not about 2D. There's plenty of them out there. But yeah, I want to focus on pixel art style. And that's how they get all the nice lighting, and it has so much depth, it still looks like regular pixel art. How pretty. I'm gonna have to check out Eastward again. I've seen it before, but I haven't glanced at it too much. And you've been struck by an animation bug. That's what it feels like. The shame, I tell you. And Doom is pixel art. I'll have to take another look at Doom again. Oh boy. So, okay, you know what? Let's spawn a Necromancer. I just want to see. They should be purple. And here's a 14-second clip of from the developer behind the scenes of it. Oh, now you've left me curious. Hold on. If it'll let me, copy this guy so I can move him to this here. Paste here. Yep. And let's see. Behind the scenes of Eastward. Hold on. I'm just so curious. Just really quickly. Yeah, it's such a pretty looking game. It really is. I would like to make something. Oh, what? Sorcery, magic, witchcraft, witchcraft. What did it just say? I was like, oh yes, very normal indeed. Yep. Perspective change. And that's nice. Are you a software developer IRL? Is this just a hobby? I hope to become I've made a game already, so technically I'm a game dev, but I want to be a full-time game dev. So it's like more of a part-time game dev, so to speak. But no, not a software developer IRL, just a person who wants to be an indie dev full-time. Let's see. What I wanted to do was see if we could spawn the Necromancer. That'll solve all the problems in terms of if the assets aren't working, if they're not loaded incorrectly. You saw here, right? These little X's that appeared on the screen. So I'm thinking the animations aren't working, or the animations aren't lined up, they're not loaded. That's why they're not doing their thing. Let's see. You can go ahead and spawn customer profile index. I think I have to do 1 here. Okay, that's not the guy we want to do. Try spawning 0. Yeah. Oh yeah. It is the animations are a little messed up. Spawn customer, spawn the default necromancer. Spawn a default necromancer. You should be a Necromancer. There he goes. And I've done a very deep dive on Eastward. I'm telling you, I wish the Eastward was up on Spriter's resource. I've got to make sure that I start saying it correctly, as the assets look really pretty. But I will eventually play it. I do know that. And buy Necromancer. The wave. And that seems to be them showing it how it was made for the layers and all that nice, ignoring the Z-lar. Yeah, it is a neat clip. Super neat. So if I do customer, let's see, print customer message. No, that's not it. I believe, yeah, it's supposed to be cheats.print customer profiles. That's what this guy's supposed to be. And you can see customer profiles, default necromancer. Interesting. Okay. So apparently right now, this debug guy can only print or only spawn necromancers. Let's see if we can fix that. If we go back to our levels menu here and our test guy, the test guy is supposed to be this guy here. And you can see, oh, that's why. Let's go ahead and add our Necromancer here and see if we can spawn him in. I should be able to do Necromancer profile. If I just drag that Necromancer guy into here, save it, play it again. Let's see how if it fixed that issue, and we can see if the assets of the Necromancer spawn in. Now if we do cheats dot, or Here we go, utility.cheats, or it should be cheats, there we are. Cheats.print customer profiles, this guy here. Medimancer. So now if we do spawn customer, I should be able to do 1 for Medimancer, and Medimancer did spawn, okay. So it's not that that's the issue. Interesting, okay, all right. This is just a small retexture of the Necromancer, making them a little pink. Let's have them wait out, oh, that timer's so long. And you're merely a servant to AI and fixing my buggy amateur code. Your dignity is gone. I've noticed whenever it comes to coding stuff, AI is definitely not helpful, at least when it comes at least for me. So, Medimancer, okay. Let's go ahead and have the Medimancer waiting period, waiting time, test, order patience test, line patience test. Go ahead and spawn them again. So spawn customer, you. Yep. And your timer should be, yep, there you are. Okay, and you should leave. Okay, let's go ahead and spawn you again. Now let's see if you have that same animation bug that plays. Reading, yep, free time. And then after reading, you should be ready to wait. And let's see if you slide. Do you also moonwalk? You do. Interesting, okay. So, some things seem to work, some things don't. You can see here, this is how the animation frames are supposed to work, but it doesn't seem like they're working properly. This is for that guy, this is for this guy. Their walk animation seems to be off for some reason. Walk left, walk right, walk up. All of these guys should work, but they're not working properly. So odd, very odd. Okay, let's go ahead and close this guy here. Close our main menu. Close this guy here as well. Let's go ahead and close the key listener out. Close the key, yeah, okay. I say Our visual offset dot position dot x. Yeah, okay. So, on our space icon, yeah, we don't need any of these guys. Right now, we're not looking at the case. We probably will at some point have to come back to it. But for right now, customers are our issue. And I'm wondering why our animations are angry. So if we go back to our animation player, you can see, right? Look, all the animations are here. They're not X's anymore, but in our animation tree, or where we had our animations, odd. Did it fix it? Did that fix the thing? The idea behind the animation tree, though, is it's supposed to look something like this. So the idea is that from idle, they go to walking. Then from walking, they go to either browse menu, then they await. And if they leave angry, they go to walking, because walking is them leaving. So that walking is supposed to happen after the awaiting. So my question is, why is that not working? Is it now going to work because it's loaded in, or I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Let's see. If I go back to here and go ahead and spawn you in here, yep. Go ahead and have you take your classic seat. Give them time. Maybe we should just make a temporary debug speed so they zoom past. We'll wait for them to have their browsing menu time. Okay? Now, are you going to smooth criminal walk out of here? You are. You can see it says move, right? And they're exiting, but they still have the wave guy there. So we're gonna spawn them in again. Yeah, spawn customer. Have you move over here. Think about it for a little bit. Think about what you want to have, and then we'll do the thing. The reading, waiting, and then I want to pause the game just so we can expect. Okay, the game's paused. We are now in debug territory. I can go back into here. Okay, so in our remote, and oh.
Ursula raided the stream with 6
Ursula
views.
Art, welcome, and thank you for the raid. Hello, everyone. I spear cub hug. Oh, sweet. Hello, and welcome. An Ironclad Magician. I feel like I've read that name before. But hi, and thank you for the raid. Hold on, I want to make sure I do the shout out correctly. I should be able to, right? Ursula, right? And then ART, did that work? Did it? It did. Lovely. Thank you. And I hope you had a lovely stream. I bring my bears. Hey yo, and welcome. Let me give you the lowdown on the game I'm currently working on. If we go back into where we at, Obsidians, and hey yo, reading party. Hello. I can bring you into here. I'm currently working on a rhythm typing cafe game called Necrotype Cafe. And hold on, let me click this guy here. It is currently, I've been working on it since past August. And it was supposed to be a small project, but as you can see, it's almost August already. It's supposed to be a rhythm typing cafe game, and then right now it's in a state. It is still most certainly in the prototype state. And Iron Guild in my raid, lovely to see you. This looks great. Thank you. And again, I hope you have a lovely stream, and thank you once again for the raid. By all means, if you have to go and just rest, but thanks for stopping by. So what we can do here is I can go ahead and click play, since this is the current version of the game that is functional. Right now, the one I'm working on is broken. Very broken. But what we can do is if I click here, this guy here, it brings you to the tutorial. So the idea is that rhythm typing cafe game where you play as this girl named Gabriella. She's a necromancer, and you leave you at work whilst I sort some food out for yourself. No worries. Thanks again for the raid and for stopping by. I hope your food's nice and tasty. This is Gabriella here, and the idea is that customers appear and you have to serve them, your fellow wizard customers. So as the game goes on, you get more flavors to serve them, more foods, more spells. The idea is that you have to summon your food by typing to the beat. It's the rhythm typing portion of the game. The customer will read their dish, think about what they want to eat, and then we can go ahead and look at their food. So what they want is a pink-purple icon thing, and if we go here to this atlas, it says sweet bitter cake. So what they want is a sweet bitter cake, and the hope is that once the game is in a better state, the different wizards will want different types of food. So for example, if you're serving a cryomancer or ice wizards, they might want a minty flavored food. If you're serving your pyromancer, so your flame wizards, you might do spicy. So it might be like spicy bitter or spicy sweet. And as the game goes on, more flavors or more food types. We can go into here, and this starts up the rhythm typing version of the game. So let's see, they wanted sweet bitter cake. Let's go ahead and do sweet, bitter, and then cake. So I can click generate, and would you look at that, the game starts up. So let's see if I can do this. W-I-T-H-E-H-R-E-A-D-S space O-F space D-W-I-L-I-G-H-T space A-N-E-H-G-O-A-P-S-K-I. Is that done though? Give it a second. Gonna loop back around for the rest of it. Let's see. N dot space V I O L E N T space S O C K S comma. And there is our sweet butter cakes. Let's go ahead and serve the customer. We slide all the way back to this guy. They go ahead and eat their food, wipe their mouth, dab it, think about what they wanna give us for a tip, and then go along the merry way. And that's the basics of the game. Violent socks. So, as I said before, right now the game is in prototype stage. A lot of things are placeholders, and one of those placeholders is that the final version of the game, I want to have poetry as the way the game works. So for the current, right now, it's a, what is it? The common version, or Creative Commons, there we are. Creative Common poetry. So if I click here to our spell list, you can see, right now it's just a mumble jumble. Beware the jub, the catch, and shun the frumptuous. Bandersnatch, he took his purple sword in hand. This is to be changed, but for right now it's this. And can you reanimate customers that die of food poisoning? Thankfully, this is, well, it's not up to par. It's supposed to be a secret cafe in the school, as she's sent there to become a necromancer, but she wants to become a baker or chef. So she's using her necromancy skills to do this stuff, and everything is up to par, even though the standards don't exist. You know, maybe around undead things and not savory stuff, but I assure you, and no, they'd leave terrible Yelp reviews. I died. Well, I got better. In this world, necromancers are well respected to raising the dead. You know, they make good lawyers for murder cases, things of that nature. The issue we're running into right now, as you saw, right, the customers were doing fine. They were moving around. For some reason, while I am currently in the process of refactoring everything, when the customer decides they want to leave, as you can see, they're broken. They're just not moving. They're moving around, or they're just not doing the thing. If we spawn another customer, they're in queue. You should be able to seat them. They go to their seat. All right. Then they get mad if you don't take their order in time. Right now it's a fast timer to just bug test, but watch what happens when this timer runs out. What they decide to do if they can't get their order. So that's where you caught me when the raid occurred. Trying to figure out why they decide to moonwalk it out of here if they're not satisfied with my my customer service. So, saying that, we were taking a look at the animation tree when it comes to customers. It should work properly. After they await the waiter, if it does not happen, they should walk. That's what the state of walking should do. And they were waving, they had the state of walking, but for some reason, didn't work out properly. Let's go ahead and try it again, and then let's pause the game mode and see if we can take it from there. Let's go back into here, debug, there we go, and then spawn a customer. Go ahead and have you be seated. You can see, right, moving, walking, right? And then it turns into idle, browsing menu. This is their state. And then idle, awaiting waiter. And then it should be moving, walking, moving, exiting. So when they're exiting, I'm guessing something to do with the exiting.
Herrera is now following.
Thank you. Oh, Herrera. Thank you for the follow. So, because they are sliding as they are leaving, that is not the right animation that should play. They should walk as they're exiting. So in this exiting state, let's see, there should be a switch advance. Yeah, condition exiting. And on this exiting condition, their animation should be walking. That's where this guy is moving to. So if we go into our customer guy here, the hope was that by changing to the system of animation trees, it would make it easier. But that does not seem to be the case. If we go up here to this guy and welcome, I'm in software development, so this stuff is fun to you? I'm glad. This is the second game I've ever made, and it's fun, but I'm suffering. Bugs are not your friend. There's a reason they're called bugs. And one of my friends just sent me a video of her pilot husband phone location track during his flight pass with Dora's song playing in his phone avatar stereo. How silly. Oh man, the Dora song haunts my dreams. So this exiting, right? Exiting. Right now, that's currently what it says. Oh, if we go back to game, move, exiting. That's their state, which is the move state. And then, okay, we're good. It's the move state and the idle state. The idle is what happens when they're sitting still. But when they're in the move state, they should have the move animation. That's this guy here. One position, walking. The animation should be walking, which is why I'm most so curious why it's not doing the thing. We go back into here in our customer. Yeah. Status walking, status exiting. If you're exiting all these guys are supposed to do true and false, and you can see here, set profile. What we want is if you're in queue, line patience, nope, that's not what we want. When we're in the move state, the animation should be walking. But for some reason, it is the order animation. So on this move state, it should be a different animation. So when we enter in this guy, so on enter, we're going to do print, and then we're going to print out the blend position, or not the blend position, the current animation is what I want to try to do. And you merely adopted the bugs. I was born in them, molded by them. I didn't see the 6C, I didn't see 60 FPS till I was but a man. Oh boy, I can't imagine how game dev was back in the day when all these nifty tools weren't created. That's a little scary. I can say that much. So entity.animation player, animation _ player, like this. Hold on. Why do we not have an animation player for you? You're not dragged and dropped, and when devs have to code in assembly, you wash your mouth with soap. Assembly, that's the things of nightmares. Oh, and binary. In my college days, I had to understand binary. Never again. And that's how they had to do it. Oh yeah, I have an appreciation and respect for Programmers, for when they had to do those things in hires. Hi chat, just passing by. Hope stream goes well. Welcome, Devil Aaron. Thank you for stopping by. It is going, I can say that. When one problem is solved, another occurs. Nothing is ever truly fixed, but thanks for stopping by and just saying hi. That's always very sweet. Okay, so, status, exiting, yes. We need to know the animation. That's what this guy is. Animation player. If we go back into our move state, entity, animation player, dot, we should be able to see the current animation playing, dot, current animation. C-U-R-R-E-N-T, A-N-I-M-A-T-I-O-N. Current animation. Let's see if that works. I have no idea. And don't wash your mouth, burn it. All I'm asking is for just a smidge of soap. Only a smidge, you know. You don't have to go burning it with hot coals. Oh, that'd be awful. Let me go ahead and make sure this guy's muted so the music doesn't overlap. And yeah, just write in your own compiler. That's what they had me do in college. It was, we were making games in Visual Studio, and I didn't want to make my own engine. I just wanted to use an engine. I believe it was going to be either Unity or Unreal. Awaiting your waiter. Okay. Slide. You are sliding to the left. And it does not print out the thing we wanted it to. So, what we're gonna do is, what do you hear? Punk enter. And then play. And shame you couldn't use Raylib. I think I've heard of Raylib before, possibly. I'm not quite too 100% sure though. Let me spawn another customer in. Have them be seated. Let's go ahead and just skip this guy here. And oh, I'm walking into a wall. Help. I can't move. Help. I'm stuck. Oh, we're good. Oh boy. Bug after bug, I tell you. So the hope is that, okay, good. So, and oh, there we are. Current animation. So this guy right here, idle awaiting. It is entering the current animation entity. If we go ahead back into our cafe here, we should be able to look at our customer manager, see our customers, and it is this guy here. This is our customer. So their status label, their dish is none, their ghost in range, all that stuff here, your Medimancer, yup. What we wanted to see is their current animation. Animation player. Animation, yup. Now, where do I see current animation? Awaiting dish, yep, or waiting waiter. Where are we at? Current animation. Okay, there's no current animation. Let's go ahead and just enter, return, okay. Yay, customer left angry emit. Update customer status, the customer, we update it, update patience bar. Yep, update patience bar, this is all in process. Update animation tree, okay. Possibly here's where we need to do it. Before animation status to animation tree bull, if it is a current status, it is that animation. That makes sense. Go ahead and step over you. Yep. And then let's just go through all of these guys as they're updating. The idea behind this status to animation tree is, if you can see here, these guys, it's modifying these conditions so that depending on this guy here, it changes up the animation tree. And it was working until it wasn't. I feel like that's always the case when it comes to game dev and debugging. Let's see. Stepping over all of these, and we're waiting for, okay, if current state is none, not none, update current state, okay? And if not customer equals null, we update the patience meter, all of that stuff. So in our game, idle. They're still currently idle. And man, this is complicated. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the good and bad part of programming is that when you're just starting, it's easy, it's small, it's simple because you just have a blank screen. But as you add more and more complications and all of these guys down here, it becomes a project that can sometimes become overwhelming, which is why it's important to make sure you refactor every now and again, and also just make sure your code is clean. I recently updated the way customers worked, which is why, which is why the H version of the game is working with customers, but this version isn't updating. When refactoring and updating how customers worked, something went amiss, something went wrong. And now the animation guy is not working in Doc, indeed. Good old Borkertons. Okay, so saying that. Okay. Yep. In your animation tree guy here, what we want it to say is, if we go back to this guy here, cafe, yep, our customer, you here, we want it to say exiting. That is true. And if you're exiting, then you play the walking animation. So if we just continuously go through where we at in our output, nope, our debugger, there we are. And the fact that it says a dog is the most normal thing. I've said I've had a dog before. I have a dog and a bird. I'm a very animal person, and my goal is to own at least the one animal type. I've owned ferrets. I want to own rats. I at one point want to own a cat. I really like animals, and my internet keeps crashing since you woke up. Please let me stay, dear wub gods. Hi Gus, welcome to stream. And you want a giraffe? If it's one animal I never want to own, it would be a monkey. They're scary. Very scary. Oh boy. And have you ever seen how giraffes sleep? No, but I have seen how they drink water. It's very silly. And have you tried setting var errors equal to 0? Easy. And hi. Oh, I did read that name already. And you won't forget it. Go look at how giraffes sleep. I will put this in to look at the end of the stream. Just that's there. I don't want to spoil it for myself. Oh boy. And okay, I did read that. Lovely. Okay. So the animation guy, let's just do this here, right? I'm moving and exiting. So if I pause this guy, you can see that the animation, ooh, interesting. Okay, this is this guy here. Yeah, this is customer, root. We have our cafe, our customer manager. It says exiting, but in our animation tree. In the animation tree, exiting is not ticked on. And I want a vulture, such an underrated burb. Vultures are neat. You know, the issue with birds is that they live a very long time. But I would love to own like a vulture or like a hawk. But those are very exotic. And need a lot of care and time. So for some reason, the exiting parameter isn't checked off. Just to make sure it wasn't because we were doing all the breaks and guys, let's double check if I go ahead and cancel this guy. If we go back up to here, where are we at? In our move state, nope, our idle state. Oh, let's just click this guy here. I just want to double check to see if the exiting is checked or not. That'll depend. And I did read that, good. Okay, levels, we can go back into here. Spawn customer. Move this guy over here. Yep, you're walking, keep up walking. I'm walking here. Browsing the menu, okay, all right, so far so good. Awaiting waiter, okay. Now I just want to pause just briefly. If we go ahead back to our remote, and we go back into our cafe, into our customer manager, where our customers are kept, into our, let's see, customers, here we are. This little guy here, the animation should right now be awaiting waiter. If we go back into this guy, you can see awaiting waiter is checked. So let's go ahead and click on unplay. Exiting is not checked. So for some reason, when we set it to exiting does not get checked on the conditions. And I think this is why their animations don't work correctly. So we just have to figure out how to enable exiting and why exiting is not currently enabled. And that's one of the newer emotes. I'm telling you, this is all what programming is about. But that's one of the things I do like about it. I like how you have to be intentional with your code and your programming. If you can find a way to order everything and structure everything, it makes things not as painful. These were the bools I was talking about. We have the in queue, the walking, all of these statuses. And the idea is that there's a dictionary for the string and a dictionary for the bool. And for some reason, the bool isn't turning on. And not my catch, never. What do you mean, Gus? And well, my child, you must repent or delete your cache. Oh, I say. Ah, yes. And problem solving and nailing the solution is half the fun. Oh, yeah. I do like problem solving. I don't like puzzles. I'm not a puzzle person. But problem solving, now that I can get behind. It might just have a little bit of a different name, but You know, sometimes you just need a little bit of spice to spruce things up. So, what we need to do is when it transitions, when it switches over from changing, yeah, okay. So you can see here in the animation tree, right? The issue right now is that during our awaiting waiter, we need it to go to walking. But it won't go to walking because this little guy, this little condition exiting is not turned on. So we need to go to awaiting waiter. And when they're in the condition of awaiting waiter, once awaiting waiter timer has ended, so what we can do to go to check that is the programming emote. I do need to find one that's a little... that is angry. That is frustration. The rage quit emote. Down here, this is where the timer expires, and oh, a flowchart. Oh yeah, this is new. This is new to the code. I did this recently, and I don't know if you can tell, but the fact it broke that I did this recently. But the code where the timer runs out is here, and what we're looking for is awaiting waiter. So when the awaiting waiter timer ends, so that's this guy here, we need to update our status to exiting. That makes sense, that is true. So when we update our status, which is status exiting, let's go ahead and click that guy. If the current status is the new status, return. We set the current status to the new status. Okay, so it would appear, okay. So if the customer is exiting, satisfied, we exit target, update their icon, do all of those things. What we need to do is this guy here. Change animation from state. Now we have more things to hunt down. We need our current status. So let's go ahead and do Control-Shift-F. Find this guy in our code. So .emit. Ooh. Do we ever use you? Hold on. Control-Shift-F. Change animation from state. We do kind of. Nope. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. So for some reason, we don't change animation from state. Okay. And then up here in our ghost effects and all those things, we can go ahead and hide that since right now we're not dealing with ghost. And we'll have that. I'm in a groove right now, so we'll snooze that timer. Oh, hush. For just at least another 5 minutes and see if we can figure this out. I feel like I'm onto something. I feel like I remember reading one thing one time where it's like programming is the one place where you get to be the detective and you get to be the detective and the criminal, and you have to leave clues to find yourself. Find your crime. It is like a little mystery game. So here in our, nope, not set profiles, we're looking for this status to animation tree bool when we update it. And imagine dealing ghost while programming. Fighting with air right now. Ghost are for another day. And that's so accurate, yeah. I thought it was really silly. Update status. Where do we update our status at? For update status, we do it in a few places. For our customer.update status, we update their, okay, exiting satisfied. Okay, update, connect, browsing menu, update status, exiting. Okay, so if we go back down here, update status, that's where we were just at. We're the exiting. So, for some reason, our update animation tree. Okay, where do we use update animation tree? We use it here in process and here in this guy. Okay, so for animation, if animation equals current status, okay, so animation is status to animation tree bool. That seems right? Because the status to animation tree, if we go back up here, you can see status to animation tree bool, it is the status and it is the bool. And then depending on the bool, now our exiting seems right, EXITING, exiting satisfied, EXITING. Now I'm curious to see, yeah, the issue is right now, the status isn't highlighting. And I suspect Iris with the IDE in the office. Can you remind me what IDE means? And the red squiggly lines. The red squiggly lines of doom. I'm definitely, when it comes to debugging, more of a printer than I am going through the debugger. There's just something about breakpoints that make it a little confusing. I had to use them all the time in college, and I never want to see them again. So, okay. Update customer status. update status. That brings us to this guy. And once our status is updated, the thing is, this runs in process, this update animation tree. That's what this guy is supposed to be for. This guy is supposed to enable our exiting bool. But for some reason, our exiting bool does not go off. So we need to figure that out. That's this guy here, the exiting, yeah, status exiting, exiting, walking false, status exiting, exiting. This should be the current animation. If we go into our animation, let's see, this guy here, oh, no, yeah. This guy here, where are we at? Audio callback process, parameters, yeah, conditions. This is where this came into position at. All of these guys. The idea is that this guy gets enabled and then the animation plays. An integrated development environment. Oh, ID, yeah. It's like, that sounds familiar, I couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, I do remember the IDE. Oh man. Does Visual Studio count as an IDE, I believe, right? I think that's where that is where I remember it from. If I can recall, and not Doom, just inconvenience. It may be difficult for some time, but it's the only path towards salvation. And to also try unplugging and replugging your router. When your internet crashes again, it is delete or be deleted. This catch has never had to pay for my suffering. I got ya. I'm getting on to it. Memory not the best, but it gets there eventually. Okay, so for some reason, these guys aren't updated. The condition isn't updated. So what I want to do, just to check and see, is if we go back into when we update the status, so this guy here, when we set it to true, I want to print out and do, actually let's do utility.print, and then we can go ahead and do updating bool to true, and then I want to set the bool. So I want to do, let's see, what we can do is do status to string, animation tree name, yeah, this guy here, and then let's just go ahead and set it to our current status. There we are. So hopefully it should tell us the guy, and let's do utility dot debug color, DEBUD, debug color dot. Let's just do notify. That way it's a little bit of an orangey color. And oh, now the ads are doing the editing. All right, I'll let them do their thing while we soften to here, and I'll give it a second to wait all the time while the 3 minutes is running. Oh, yeah, actually, you know what? While the 3 minutes are running, we can take a look at the giraffe. What a lovely time. Okay, let's see about that giraffe that was spoken about earlier. Let's see. Images of giraffe sleeping. Oh, my heart! I have never seen such a cute sight. Hold on. So we were talking about animals earlier, and look at it. Giraffes sleeping are adorable. They're just a sweet little thing. That tongue, though, that tongue is scary. They have very long tongues. Oh boy. Oh, yeah, it is a butt pillow. I mean, one of these isn't a, look at this one. My man's folded. Hi, Jack. This one is more of a yoga pose. Oh boy. What a lovely sight after struggling with all the program. You know what? Just a sense of loveliness, and I thought it was something traumatizing. Oh no. That is them in a relaxed state. That's them sleeping. What they look like asleep, it's so cute. And it's kind of freaky, not gonna lie. Oh, you go away. I tell you, this is Siri. And it's kind of freaky, not gonna lie. Oh no, that's my watch. Oh, right. I thought it was Siri speaking to me. It is my watch. Saying battery low. That disembodied voice, I couldn't tell where it was coming from. Figured it out, we're all good. And it's kind of freaky, not gonna lie. Why is the neck like that? It's cute, but I wonder how hard it would be to draw it. Draw a sleeping giraffe. Let's go ahead and click this guy here, and let me go ahead and move this guy back here. Okay. So what we wanted to see, and while I'm waiting for that kind of minute to run out, let me get some water. We're thinking alike, you and I.
_16 just redeemed hydrate.
Hydrating I shall. Thank you for that one. I'm also wondering why the notification didn't pop up with all the sparkly bits. Very odd. But thank you. I'll do another water. Yeah, speaking of water. Let me go ahead and I'll get another sip. Nothing better than sliced bread. And it did for me. There's supposed to be a visual animation, or you're saying the visual animation did show up. Maybe it just doesn't show up on this guy then, on OBS. How odd, but interesting and good to know. Thank you for that one, and monstrous, truly. The poor watch pleading for its life and you ignored it. It will be charged once the stream is over. It's just getting a little forced sleep. Saying that though, the ad is over. So let's go ahead and do that test. I'll go ahead and spawn the customer in, and we should see it updating to Drew. Idle. Okay. Updating to true. Walking. Okay. And it seems to be a Twitch thing. It's the site that sparkles. Interesting. Got ya. That makes sense. Awaiting waiter. Yeah. And then exiting. So it is updating to true on the exiting bit here. Animation tree player. This guy here. Where are we at? Did the customer already leave? They already left. Never mind then. Let's go ahead and spawn another customer. Hello, valued customer. That totally, you got the patience of just a thin line. Go ahead and think about what you want. And H2O2. Isn't that the bad one? Water squared. I could have swore that one was the one you didn't want. So this guy here, updating bool to true, exiting. So if we go back into our remote guy, right? When we go into our cafe, we go back into our customer here, customer, and we go into your animation tree. Exiting condition isn't turned on. Okay. So the bool is true, but the exiting condition isn't true. Yeah, it is the bad one. I knew it. Watch, you will be charged, I assure you. It's fighting for its life out here. Okay, exiting, idle, all of these guys make sense. Now, another thing I want to test. So I'm going to do this guy here. We're going to spawn another customer in, and we're going to have the customer be seated. I'm just going to pause this guy really quickly. I want to go back to here, go back to this customer, go to the animation tree. So you can see, right, walking is enabled. So go ahead and undo this guy. So right now, walking is enabled to true on the side there. Next up, it should be reading. Yeah, browsing menu is true. Awaiting waiter is true. And then exiting should be set to true, but not. So somewhere along the lines, that exiting is not updating. We do know something is something. And two men walk into a bar. One man says, I would like H2O. And the second man says, I want H2O too. The second man is dead. Sounds about right. Yep. Oh, I used to want to be a chemist. A biologist or a chemist. But, now I'm here. And I couldn't be happier. I think that was the right choice. So in our customer, let's see, our animation tree player, I'm wondering, in this guy here, right, watch, it will be taken care of. This guy is supposed to be condition EXITING. We're gonna have to put you in timeout. Exiting, EXITING. Status to animation tree dictionary. Let's find this guy. Where are you at? Utility, updating status. Yep, status. There we are, okay. And then animation tree, status to animation tree, bool, animation equals true. Yeah, and the animation tree conditions. Oh, hold on. Maybe this guy here? Tree parameters. Parameters equal like this? Oh, no. Never mind. This is the for loop, right? That's this guy here, and then it sets it to the, okay. So parameter conditions, and then it should do animation. Yeah, that makes sense, right? This is the animation guy, current animation, and then it sets it to the status to animation tree bool. So, status to animation tree dictionary, print, and we're just gonna do this guy here, this parameters here, to see if it at all makes a difference. And you're an animation tree. You're an animation tree. No, you're an animation tree. You're all animation trees. Oh, what's that? You know, I feel like that could be a compliment. So thank you. Let's go ahead and print parameter conditions plus and then status to animation tree. Let's go ahead and print this guy here. Yup. And then let's go ahead and print you as status to animation tree bool. We want you as string there. And why are you angry? Closing does not have counterpart. Oh, like that. Yeah, okay. So, okay, parameters. Now I know this is gonna spam a lot and I have returned. Welcome back, Gus. And it was. I appreciate it then. Let's see. Spawn customer. Okay. Exiting false. False, exiting true, false. Okay. Spawn customer. Okay, and let's do this. Walking. Oh, it is dying. It is dying from all the prints. And crawling out of the gravel. I hope your internet's a little better. I can't say. Stream was a little interrupted today because of the my internet, so I do feel your pain. I thought I'd have to cancel today, but we're all good. Let's see. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do equal. Like this. Yeah, okay. So something like this? Yeah. And the web gods knew of my potential, so they tried to stop me, but they shall regret it. I'll make everyone regret it. And changing the color is certainly the way that makes the different wizards. Certainly the way to make the different wizards, but it would be hilarious to have a placeholder that's just a space sprite up the the topsy-turvy wizard. The rare wizard that spawns if you type in the spell backwards. Oh, that'd be silly. Let's see. True, false, true. Oh, it's dying. Help it. Help this computer. The frames. It's not happy. Oh, it looks like it hurts. Oh boy. Awaiting waiter. Exiting true. Okay. Exiting true, exiting. So there's two parameters here. That's interesting. Updating bool to true, right? And then here. So for some reason, parameters condition exiting true, exiting false. Are there two exitings? Hold on. Parameters condition status to animation tree name dictionary. Status to animation tree dictionary. Status to animation tree, yeah. Okay. Okay. Maybe, how can we do this? How can we? And hello, banana, welcome. Hello, Iris in chat. I have graced you with my presence. Rejoice. Oh, I'm gonna cough. Oh no! What? I'm okay. Everything is okay now. Yours truly is allergic to banana. Oh man, it changed the exiting back to false somehow. Yeah, true, false. Interesting, you sure? My eyes are a little watery. But we're all good now. Yeah, it did. So our status, I'm guessing because, right, we have two exitings, and because the status is exiting this exiting, I think that's the issue here. So, and that's not a sound a person that that's okay would make. Completely normal, I assure you. So I'm wondering if, okay, what we'll do here is, okay, so the idea was that there's multiple ways you can exit, right? The hope is that in the future, And I say this, I keep saying the hope is that, but I'd like to add a lot of flavor to this game. That's one of the things I want to do. For example, I want to have custom wait animations for different types of wizards, things of that nature. For right now, they're all the same, but can you imagine maybe the pyromancers are like hotheads, so when they're waiting, they have like they're tapping their feet as they're waiting for their order, or as they're waiting in line, or maybe as they're exiting out angry, maybe you can see like steam or fume coming out of their head because they're angry as they're leaving. So that's why I have the different animations. But because we have this exiting and as exiting satisfied, hi Zen, welcome back. And as hold on, let me find the name. Who said it? Oh man, the silly eldritch princess. I do appreciate it, Luskin. There we are, Benedis. Yep. Nope, hydrate water.
So just redeemed hydrate.
Alright, if you insist, after just almost coughing my lungs out. Oh boy, hold on. Okay, I'm all good. And a cafe game will have flavor. I sure hope it does. You make a very good point. So, the hope is that the different animations will play. So, I'm wondering if what we can do is say, if exiting equals true, don't set it to false. Possibly? Or possibly like that, and gotta water those lungs. Very true, they've gotta go big and strong. Let's see. So because there are two exiting, we'll do this. If animation equal, and then we'll do okay, so I'm wondering if animation equal, and then we'll go ahead and do the exiting animation. So we'll just go ahead, and this is the default exiting. But for right now, we'll just have this as this guy here. If this animation, so this bool equals, let's see, not bool. If the name dictionary, so this guy here, if the name equals, if this name equals, and then we'll go ahead and have on here status animation tree dictionary name equals, and this is going to be status.exit, exiting. What we'll have happen is, and then we'll have an else here, or if else, it's else. This guy here, we'll go ahead and print that there. And so, if it is this, we'll just set it to, okay, so now that we know it's exiting, right, they're both exiting, we're going to set it to the previous exiting. That's the hope here. So, yeah, okay. I'm wondering. I'm thinking. I'm sure that water has to go to the stomach so the lungs don't grow too much and leave ya. The fly away, the flutter. And the ice wizard has more of a patience because of how chill. Yeah, I'm telling you. Wouldn't it be cool to have like some ice princes or some ice witches, you know, the ones that are supposed to have a cold heart? I'd like to, like, the idea is that there's supposed to be a semester, right? So like 30 levels, maybe after each week, to get the next flavor, so the next customer, the next wizard type unlocked. To do it, you would have to serve the head of the head of the school. In this example, our character, our necromancer, she is the head of the necromancers. So you'd have to serve the head of the ice guys, and they'd have it really special because they're kind of like the final boss of the week. And it's better to drown in the walla than be dry and coughing. I don't know about that one. Sounds like a banana conspiracy. And you warm up their hearts with coffee? Could be. Maybe they like warm drinks, or maybe they like really cold drinks. Maybe they have favorite drink preferences. That's a lot of customization that I'd like to add. But again, the customers currently are moonwalking. So, it's lovely, and it's fun to think about, but it's just a theory. A banana theory. Exactly. Oh, this guy right here. And feature creep warning mode. Oh yeah, like I said, fun to think about. But let's put that thought. Yeah, it's a great thought. Let's set it to the side so that in the future we can talk about it. But we want to make sure our game is first functional, and then we can have all the flavor and spice and all of those things. But for now, Why are they moonwalking? So, if status... Okay, no, hold on. var exiting bool equals false. And then what we'll do is say if we'll do it here and hydrate. You really do. I'm gonna say drown Mowawa. And it would be surprised to see a wizard IRL that doesn't moonwalk. That would be your cool wizard category. Let me get some more water. Tasty Wawa. Okay, let's see. So I'm wondering, let's see. Updating bool tree. If, and what we'll do is, it was such a good idea to watch your stream to chill out. I'm glad you thought so. And again, welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying it around here. As you can see, we're very productive. But what's fun? What's the point of working on a game if you can't have fun every now and then? Get just sidetracked. So let's see. If the animation is, and we'll do this, right? So if the animation, this guy here, if it is this, then exiting will equal true. And the idea is that, down here, yeah, okay. So if they add, yeah, all of those things, and then exiting equals true. Otherwise, we set that to false. And then down here, if, and then we can go ahead and do this guy here. So if exiting, EXI, if exiting, so if we know we're exiting, then we can go ahead and set all the exiting animations to true. So if exiting and the animation that is, yeah, okay. So if exiting in the parameter condition, so the status to animation equal, so this guy here, equal, and then we'll go ahead and do on here, this exiting guy. So if it is actually exiting, we need to set it to true. So something like this possibly. Otherwise, we do the other thing. So what we can go ahead and do is this here. Or rather, if the status animation, so more so like this. If status animation equals, then we set it to like this. And instead of this animation guy here, we set it to the exiting animation. Something like this, I think, possibly. So if the animation dictionary does that guy here, then we'll just set whatever the exiting animation is. Otherwise, we set it to these guys. And only the chillest around here. As chill as it gets. I need some shades. And it always makes my day to see the local wizard, moonwalk to this grocery store around aisle 5. What's in aisle 5? And for the small cost of all my money, I can make Eris drown. You know, Eldritch is associated to water and stuff, but I can't breathe water, that's for sure. And good luck, I must go back to the abyss. You appear, make me cough, and leave. No elaboration needed. I hope you have a good one, Banana. Oh boy. Alrighty, you. I know you're lagging and I know it hurts, but we're going to work through this, and is that where bananas live? And maybe not all of them are chill, like Miss Eldritch Princess. We're here for the vibes, and aisle 5 is where mere mortals don't dare. That was really moonwalking. One thing breaks, another is repaired. So now they're not now they're not waving as they leave. Now they are truly, you know, we thought they were moonwalking before. The dramatic pauses every. I'm just wondering. That's all. You know, I look at my creations and I ask myself, how did we get to this moment? Why is it the case that, why? Can we start there? Can I ask why? Huh? now the animation isn't doing the correct animation in general. So, something needs to change again. So let's see. Okay. If so-and-so, yep. If status animation equal exiting equals true. And you neglected the ghost and now they're possessing the customers. They're possessed by the spirit of Michael Jackson. Oh boy. Let's go back here, and then if I just go ahead and do all of this, does it make them wave again? Do they at least walk properly now? Did I fix the bug that was a bug of a bug? Huh? Look, they're fixed! But now we're back to square one. And you missed your last track. You think something you should look up when you get the chance, huh? By the way, I don't know about Power Rangers, but you should look up the cutscene from the Power Rangers when they fight in the SNES edition, where they did with a small number of sprites. Ooh, hold on. Let me copy that as they're possessed by the hello monster again. Let me go ahead and grab this guy here, and I will certainly give that a look. Zero, thank you for that one. And the dramatic, oh, I did read that, good. And I did read that, good. Okay, we're all caught up to date. Al 5 is where mere mortals don't dare go. And not the hello monster. Even worse than the tickle monster. Okay, so updating bool to true exiting. Right now the issue is, it's doing true and then false. So, what we can do, possibly, for right now, is maybe make an array, and we'll do var, and we'll do it as exiting statuses, S-T-A-T-U-S-E-S, exiting statuses, possibly, and then we'll just make it an array, and it is an array of status. I mean state. No, status. I was right. S-T-A-T-U-S. It is an array of status equal to, and for right now, it is status.exiting, S-T-A status.exiting, and status.exiting, and status.exiting satisfied. Let's just, just make it easy on ourselves and just do this. And there's a whole scene that are only 12 sprites in total, but the way they use them is impressive. Ew. Now you have me really excited, Zero. How curious. All right. So my idea is that if they're in exiting status, then if it is an exiting status, we set it to bool to true. So if exiting, this is tricky, isn't it? Okay. The issue is, right now what's going on is that this sets it to true, right? It says, oh yeah, true. And the exiting is set to false. So, maybe what we just have to do is do this. Satisfied. And then all we have to do is just, sometimes, I happen to overcomplicate things. Just a smidge. And then here, if they're ready to pay, they exit satisfied, right? So exiting satisfied, like that. And let me make sure the switch is proper. The waiting dish, they're exiting angry. I just want to make sure the switch and stuff. Walking, is there one awaiting waiter? So this guy here, do we use a comma or underscore? We do, okay. So exiting satisfied, and oh!
Digital Iliad raided the stream with 16 views.
Thank you for the raid, and welcome everyone. I probably butchered that. Digital Iliad. But thank you, and welcome. Hello everybody. Let me see if I can do the shout out again. Hold on. Shout out, and then Hi everyone. Let me go ahead and copy this. I want to make sure. I'm trying to get better at the shout out thing. Did it work? Lovely! I hope you had a lovely stream. Let me show you what I'm working on currently, to those who are so curious. I am currently in the process of making a rhythm typing cafe game called Necrotype Cafe, and I've been working on this game since last August. This game was supposed to be a small game. It's my second ever game I've ever made, so I wanted it to be small, and it's almost August again, so I've always been working on this since a year. It is a rhythm typing cafe game. So let me click on this guy for the tutorial. This is the character you play as, little Gabriella here. And the idea is that you're this necromancer who goes to this prestigious wizard academy. You don't want to be a necromancer, you want to be a baker. So you decide to find an abandoned part in the school to serve your fellow wizard customers. And if we open up this guy here, this is supposed to be the UI. A lot of this is placeholders and prototypes, things of those natures. So if I go ahead and flip the page, a customer is spawned. So we can go ahead and see the customer. The idea is that it is a rhythm typing cafe game. This is the cafe portion of the game, and this customer will think about what they want to eat. This is supposed to be the UI for all the customers, and what is a year but a bunch of months? I like the way you think, Zero. You can see the customers ready to order, so let's go ahead and take their order. And if we look, it's this pink, purple symbol thing, and this is the atlas here. So it's sweet, bitter, cookie. And the idea is that as you go on in the game, you'll unlock more flavors, more foods. The hope is that different types of wizards will be assigned to different flavors. The idea is, and I keep saying this, but your cryomancers, so your ice wizards, that'll be a minty flavor. Or your pyromancers, so your fire wizards, that'll be a spicy flavor. And you'll have to combine different foods, what? You're about to go in timeout. You'll get different flavors, different types of foods, and this is where the rhythm typing part comes into play. And if you take too long, will they leave? Yep, they will indeed. You can see that's what this guy is. This little symbol here is for their patience meter. This is still prototyping, so we're trying to see how well the timers go and make sure they're not too frustrating. This is the rhythm typing portion of the game. The idea is that spells and magic in this game work by poetry, so you have to type out a poem to create your food, to summon your food. Let's see, this is supposed to be a sweet, bitter cookie. Let's go for sweet, let's go for bitter, and let's go for cookie. Generate, and let's say, B-A-M-E space W-H-I-F-F-L-I-N-G space P-H-R-O-U-G-H space P-H-E space T-U-L-P-E-Y space W-O-O-D go space let's see, hold on. E-I-T-E comma space P-H-E space C-L-A-W-S, and we make our food, which we can then serve to the customer. So the customer will go ahead and eat their food, and I love it. I'm glad you do. As you can see, a lot of things are scuffed at the moment, but that's what prototypes are all about. It's supposed to be a proof of concept. So this customer was ready to leave, so let's go ahead and have them leave. And that ghost guy there, ignore him. You saw nothing. That's it. Thank you for coming to the demo. Ghosts are to be reworked, so just ignore it. Close your eyes. That's the game in a nutshell. That's all you need to know. And gotta raid and run. No worries. And we'll have a great rest of the stream. Can't wait to try it someday. Thank you for the raid in the first place. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or evening or good night. Have a good one. And Eris actually beats the minigame. I did, but I didn't get it perfect. One day I will. One day. What I'm thinking is, instead of them both being exited, why not just have exiting satisfied? And what we're working on right now, for those who just joined us, the animation of the customers is broken. I broke something. Right now, they moonwalk when they're supposed to leave. So we're trying to fix the animation. Something's wrong. Somebody's angry, and I don't know who. So I'm hoping, by updating the animation name for my animation tree, if I spawn a customer, hopefully they act correctly. So far, so good, right? They're moving, they're walking, they're existing in the world. They're sitting down, they're reading, they're browsing the menu, and now when they leave, they should walk out of here. They should not moonwalk. We fixed it! We did it! Just by changing the exiting to exiting satisfied. Lovely. Okay. All right. Now, there was one more thing I wanted to tackle to see if I could get this new prototype release up, to see about the calibration tweaks and see how people feel about it. The other issue was the audio. For some reason, the keyboard clicks and sounds don't work when you press the buttons. So let me go ahead and meet this guy here, and us fixing a problem on stream is amazing. Never seen before. Oh yeah, you know, usually things go 100% correctly the first time. Everything always works as intended. There are no bugs here. So the purpose of typing, as you saw earlier with me with the minigame, you're supposed to hear the sounds when you type the buttons, but it doesn't happen. So something is off with the audio and retrieving the audio. So let's see if we can fix it. If I go into our minigame here, let me go ahead and unmute that. I'm muting. Let's go into our spellcasting minigame. So let's see. Minigame, where we are. There we are. And fixing problems. We aren't just putting a print in every function and if statements and hope we find something or it fixes itself. No. I have no idea what you mean, Gus. So here's the mini game again. Let me go ahead and close this guy here. Or delete that guy. That was a testing key. The hope is that when you press the button in the mini game, you're supposed to hear it. I'm guessing maybe it's to do with scorekeeper. If we go into our scorekeeper scene here, yeah, error sound and keyboard click. These guys are supposed to play. And you can't have bugs without the code. So why could you have code without the bugs? I feel like there is some programmer out there that this is just like programming myth or something that out there somewhere, there's a programmer who gets it right every time, first time. Anything they think they want to program, they can program. It's the stuff of fairy tales. And 2 steps forwards, 3 steps back, we fix together. It's a natural fact because I look like a cat. Spin rhymes over here, are you, Zero? How silly. Let's see. Okay. Error sound. Alright, makes sense. Keyboard click. I should hear attack. And my mom told me that one before sleep yesterday. See? I know it. And he doesn't exist, Iris. I could believe. Let me have hope. Let me have aspirations. Family Guy joke, I see. I haven't seen that one before, Zero, so I wouldn't know. Keyboard clicks. Those are in working order. You can hear the audio. And the error sound is audible. But for some reason, these guys, thing 1 and thing 2, aren't playing when we hear the sounds. So when we do player scored, error sound.play, keyboard clicks.play. What is going on? So player scored, utility.player scored. We should be in here, in this guy here. Utility score grade missed. So why? I question so much. Let's go back into here, mute this guy for a quick second, teleport to the kitchen, and see why our audio is acting up. Okay, so player did score. Keyboard click.play. You are in sound effects. And, oh, people still think I don't exist. Good. And maybe the music overrides the keyboard sounds? It shouldn't be the case. I haven't touched these guys. You can, oh, one of them is the case. This guy should be sound effects. The idea is that you could have as many sounds as you want, play at any time you want. The idea is that due to the way the game works, there's different audio buses. So if I click this guy here, you can see there's the master, right, which controls all of the audio. And then we have music, which controls music. And then sound effect, which controls sound effect. And the idea is that depending on the volume you want, you can control the different guys. So the music should be fine. It was working before, but something's up. Another mysterious bug we have to figure out. Oh boy. I'm telling you, allergies. Spring is a terrible season. But thank you, Lasky. We're all good to go now. Okay, so volume. I'm deaf. You can't hear my words, Sarah. Out of politeness, I mute myself when I like cough or sneeze. You don't want to, or when you eat. No, you don't want to hear someone smacking their gums while they're eating. I never mind too much, but I like to be as polite as possible. Okay, here we are. So score grade. Yep, okay. Step into match grade. If play sound. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. If play sound, you say? Well, are you play sound? Is that a thing? If play sound, who decides who gets to play sound? Play sound bool equals true. Uh-huh. So I'm guessing play sound is not equal to true. Print play sound. My guess is going to be that it's going to print out false. And calculator. I just don't go outside. That's what I do. Spend my time learning how to make a Python calculator to run on test. Ooh. I tried to make a calculator before and that did not go well. So my hat's off to you, Moon. That was oof. Oof, I say oof. Okay. Cookie. False. False. Okay, what about this guy? False. So wherever we're doing our testing at, we're not playing the sound. So when do we use player scored? That's the next question to ask. Let's go here to our player scored. Where are we at? Utility player scored. Emit. Let's go ahead and we need to find the dot emit. So let's go ahead and find this guy. And we use this signal all here. Okay. So false. Let's see. And I love spring. 3 hours ago I was dying sneezing in a forest. Now I gotta run, save my laundry from a storm. I might die, so take care, folks. Thank you for coming, Jack. And yeah, you know, I'm more of a fall person, you know. It's just right. Not too cold, not too hot, and not too springy. Okay, so deletes keys out of range. This makes sense for it to be false. Let's do this guy so we can walk through each of these. This is where we get our, okay. So, if key matches, player scored, wrong key, false. I'm thinking possibly, okay, deletes all the keys. Yeah, good score. If key matches closest key, otherwise wrong key, no, okay. Deletes all keys before the closest key and takes the score. Okay. We do it up here, deletes the keys out of range. Utility.player scored. We only do it in 3 places. So deletes all keys. Player scored emit. Grade missed. Let's see. I'm just curious to see if while list is not empty and list is not closest key. Okay. So get score. Player scored. Get scored emit. Okay. Undo. Redo. Never mind. Undo the undos. Okay. I'm guessing it's one of these guys. These guys are our issue. We get the closest key. Yeah, this is how we get the score. If list is empty, otherwise we get the closest key. While list is not empty and list.front is not the closest key. So we delete the key, then we emit. Okay, delete the key, list.front, player scored, grade missed. If key matches closest key, get score dot emit. Utility.getScore. Where are we using you at? Let's see. Emit.connect. .connect get score. Let's see you here. Player scored emit. So these guys should be true, which is interesting. Okay. So I would assume these guys you should hear the click-clack. The clickety-clack. Just to do a test, just to see if this really is the issue. What we'll do is we'll take care of those falses. Let's go ahead and remove you, and I think this other one up here is fine because this is the keys out of range. So right now, I just removed 2 false statements. Just to fix our click, clack, clackety clack. Let's see. Let's go back into our our test level. Teleport to our kitchen. And now can I hear the sweet, sweet sound of a cookie? I fixed it. All right. E, Y. So the clack is still somewhere off. But this is working now. Well, I say it's working. Ignore the fact that it actually isn't. H, E space, F, I, R, S, G space. I say this is still going to take some work and some looking at. The goal is to figure out the old detection and all of those things today and tomorrow. So I'll be looking at that for sure. And let me just ask you one word. Explosion. And is that the error sound? Yep. And this is the error sound. This guy here. The keyboard click sound should sound like this. but we don't hear that. We just hear error. So for some reason, the audio, when it scores, is not scoring properly. But we can figure that'll be something to figure out. It will be, I say as. It will be. I'm really hoping we can figure this out today and tomorrow. So I'm definitely gonna work on this some more. Let's go back into here. And I say is the audio is also a little funny. Unfortunately, we are out of time for today. I started stream about 30-ish minutes late, so we're 30-ish minutes later and ending the stream, since I do from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. EST, and it just went 5:20, so we're about on schedule for today, quote unquote. But thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining and coming by, stopping by, chatting, trying to help me with this pain. If you're on Twitch, consider sticking around so we can see if we can raid someone. That's always really fun, and I've enjoyed it. The more we do it, the more I enjoy it. If you're on YouTube, that'll be the end of it for me. Thank you for the stream. Thank you for coming. So tomorrow we're going to do calibration. On Sunday we are going to do the Pixel Art community stream. So if you want to draw some pixel art with me, draw some pixel art with the people, the lovely people on stream, that'll be there. It'll be a birthday celebration since my birthday's on Monday. I don't stream on Monday, but it'll be a semi-birthday celebration on Monday. I mean, Sunday. And actually forgot to stream because you only mentioned the EST. Indeedy. So stick around if you're on Twitch for the raid. I'm going to go to the end screen since I also multi-stream on YouTube just so I can have the the end screen. I don't get to use it as often as I should. So I will be right back, alrighty? Let's see, this one. I have to forget the buttons too.